Chapter 1085. Captain. Get your people on the deck, everyone on board. Qin Shouxing obeyed all of Su Yun's orders. No matter what Su Yun requested, he would do it to his satisfaction. Although the Japanese soldiers' execution ability was far inferior to Huaxia's soldiers, they still ran out of the cabins one after another. More and more people were on the deck. Su Yun's eyes kept on counting the number of people coming out. The Japanese soldiers on the destroyer took half an hour to assemble. Qin Shouxing's legs were about to go soft from standing. Only then did the Japanese soldiers on the deck get an order. Anyone who had a Stinger missile pointed at their head for half an hour would also go soft. Are you satisfied now? My people have all come out, and they've all thrown away their weapons. Qin Shouxing said, put down your weapons too, and we'll sit down calmly. If there's anything that's acceptable or not, we can talk it out. There's no need to be so stiff, right? Su Yun smiled. That's right, there's no need to be so stiff. However, all of this depends on what you, Captain Beast, want to do. If you're open and above board, then we can talk about anything. If you want to do something behind my back, then I'll. Don't worry. I won't do anything behind your back, Qin Shouxing quickly said with a smile. A smiling tiger was indeed a smiling tiger. The brighter his smile, the more sinister his thoughts were. Su Yun looked at Qin Shouxing's flattering expression, and the smile on his face faded bit by bit. 10,000 Bird is a Japanese first-generation destroyer. It entered service in March 1996. It has a certain degree of stealth and is highly automated. It's a first-generation destroyer of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force that uses stealth and vertical launch systems. Its weapons and electronic equipment are all made in Japan. It's a multi-purpose guided missile destroyer with a strong comprehensive combat capability. Su Yun slowly said. Am I right, Captain Beast? Yes, you're right. Qin Shouxing's eyes widened as he looked at Su Yun in disbelief. This guy actually knew so much? Are you kidding me? When the warship would enter service, what kind of weapons and electronic equipment would they have? Even the soldiers on the ship would not know. Do you know what this means? Su Yun's gaze was like a bolt of lightning, piercing straight into Qin Shouxing's heart. Qin Shouxing shook his head with a blank look on his face. He really didn't know what this meant. Does this mean that he understands the military strength of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force? So what does that have to do with us now? That means I know everything about your destroyer. Su Yun scolded. Do you know what I mean now? Seeing that Qin Shouxing was still at a loss, Su Yun was completely speechless. There are 170 people on the 10,000 Birds. There were only 100 or so people on the deck. Excluding the 7 people you brought with you, who have already sunk into the fish's stomach, where are the dozens of people on your ship? Are they all preparing to attack us? Beast Captain, you're really a beast. You're a smiling tiger, you're quite sinister. Under Su Yun's loud scolding, Qin Shouxing was completely stunned. He finally understood the words in Sun Tzu's The Art of War, written by a Chinese senior. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Know yourself without knowing your enemy, and you will win and lose. Know neither your enemy nor yourself, and you will lose every battle. Now, Su Yun was equivalent to knowing yourself and knowing your enemy, and Qin Shouxing was at most knowing himself without knowing his enemy. Unfortunately, if he could meet an opponent who knew himself without knowing his enemy like him, he would have a 50% chance of winning. But now he met an opponent who knew himself and knew himself. If you wanted to talk, you wouldn't be so insincere, right? Su Yun smiled. Now, get your heavy weapons ready to attack the restaurant. All the troops on the ship get on the deck. I'll only give you 3 minutes this time. The muscles on Qin Shouxing's face twitched. Su Yun was simply too powerful. It was completely beyond his imagination. Lin Ge looked at Su Yun in surprise. Bro, you're too awesome. You even know this? But how can you be sure that he still has troops? What if the people on his ship are all dead? Are there really only 100 left? Do you think that a group of well-trained soldiers would need half an hour to gather? Su Yun sneered. I know my background very well. A truly well-trained soldier only needs 30 seconds to gather. How can they have so much time to waste? Lin Ge suddenly realized that this was true. No matter how useless the Japanese were, They wouldn't need half an hour to gather. In this half an hour, our beast captain hasn't been idle. He's been looking at us one after another, Su-yun said with a smile. She then looked down at Qin Shoshing's right index finger that seemed to be casually tapping on his thigh and said, Captain Beast, if you play Sherlock Holmes with me again, I can guarantee that your hand will be blown up like your head. Not even a speck of dust will be left behind. Qin Shoshing's finger directly froze in the air. The atmosphere of the scene completely froze. Qin Shoshing, who had always thought that he could control the situation, could no longer remain calm. This was his ship. But now he had completely lost control of this ship. What could he do if this continued? Get everyone to come out. Give up the battle preparations. Qin Shoshing finally relented. With these words, it meant that the Big Tiger Seafood City's restaurant 3 nautical miles away was completely safe. As long as those heavy weapons were aimed at the Big Tiger Seafood City's people on the deck, Su-yun and Lin-gu would no longer have any worries. This destroyer, they were definitely going to sink. Wang Dahu, who had been watching from afar with a pair of binoculars, relaxed his brows and breathed a sigh of relief. Not simple. Su-yun is really not simple. It seems that he has the entire situation under control. Lil Hachi, bring 5 brothers and come with me. Our ship should be safe for now. Although it'll be easy to make a move there, we should still go and add some flowers to the brocade. It'll be considered as lending a hand. Yes. Lil Hachi immediately called 5 of his brothers who were skilled to get on the ship with him. When all the Japanese soldiers were on the deck, Su-yun's eyes suddenly became piercingly cold. The smile on his face also became cold. Lin-gu knew what Su-yun meant. Just as he reached out his hand, Su-yun threw the Stinger missile launcher over. Lin-gu caught the Stinger missile launcher and directly jumped to the highest point of the destroyer. Then he threw a Japanese soldier hiding on the highest observation deck into the sea. Pung dash. A formless pressure suddenly erupted from Su-yun's body. Even the calm and tranquil surface of the sea suddenly churned because of Su-yun's pressure. A few stormy waves rose up high, lifting Wang Dahu and the other speedboats high into the air. Wang Dahu was shocked. What a powerful aura of pressure. Su-yun was stronger than he imagined. Because although Wang Dahu was a level 8 grandmaster, he was very clear that his pressure was definitely not as strong as Su-yun's. Because Su-yun's pressure had already begun to have a trace of domineering aura. Only the most powerful pressure could produce domineering aura. Experts who could produce domineering aura in their pressure were definitely 1 in a million. Currently, in the underground world, there were only 2 people who were known to be domineering. One was Empress Sua Lingyue, and the other was Medicine Sovereign Huang Fugua. However, both of them were supreme experts of the Sky Profound realm. That was why they were able to possess that kind of supreme domineering pressure. However, Su-yun, his strength was merely at the master realm. Chapter 1086. Su-yun and Lin-gu had already made their own arrangements when they decided to take the beast captain to the destroyer of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. Ordinary people might not know about the 10,000 birds, but all the fishermen who went out to sea to make a living were probably familiar with it. Qin Shoshing often used his 10,000 birds to act like a tyrant in the high seas. How many fishermen had been taken advantage of by him? It was not easy for fishermen to make a living at sea. People who had never been out to sea would not understand. Most people would think that being a fisherman was very good because they could eat seafood every day. This was not false at all. Fishermen could eat seafood every day for every meal. The dried squid sold at a few dozen yuan per catty in the supermarket was a snack in their eyes. But there was nothing they could do. What else could they eat besides seafood? There were only these things at sea. The sea was not a philanthropist who only knew how to be generous and let people fish in its territory. The sea also had a temper. Once it lost its temper, it would not be a small matter. Every year, the number of fishermen who were swallowed by the sea was not a small number, especially those who went out to the open sea to work. It was even more dangerous. But it was this group of people who worked hard, who made their families worry about them, who were often harassed by the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. The 10,000 birds was famous for being cheap. It often provoked fishing boats for no reason. and often used its advantage of its size to humiliate fishing boats for no reason. How could fishing boats be a match for their destroyers? They would often be bullied until they left with their tails between their legs. They did not even have a chance to collect their fishing nets. They could not catch any fish at all. Going out to sea would waste a lot of fuel. If they could not catch any fish, they would lose a lot of money. This was how the 10,000 birds harassed the fishermen who went out to sea time and time again. But the fishermen had no choice. There was no fish to catch near the sea. There were too many gluttons in Huaxia. Since ancient times, the culture of eating meals was really extravagant and wasteful. More and more people ate seafood, from coastal cities to central cities. Until now, even in the northwest, there were all kinds of seafood. As more and more people ate seafood, more and more people wasted it. The demand for seafood to be caught increased, and there was less and less to be caught near the sea. People had no choice but to go out to sea. Seafood was getting more expensive, mostly because it was getting harder to catch it. Fishermen had to risk their lives to catch it. A black sheep like the all birds should have been sunk a long time ago, but Huaxia never had the chance. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force only made small movements on the high seas. They could not arrange for a group of warships to escort fishing boats every day. That would be too wasteful of resources. Therefore, a cheap ship like the 10,000 bird had never been dealt with. Today Su Yin had seized the opportunity. Naturally, Su Yin would not let it go. Didn't Qin Shoshing like to be cheap? Then he would let him know that there was a price to pay for being cheap. The beastly captain was so shocked by Su Yun's exaggerated pressure that his legs were stiff, and a warm current soaked his crotch. This was what it meant to be truly scared to the point of peeing. Because he was the closest to Su Yun, the pressure he felt was the most direct. That kind of soul-stirring feeling caused him to lose half of his soul in an instant. Su Yun's lips curled up slightly. He was not a murderous demon, but he would not let this group of Japanese have an easy time. Whether they lived or died would depend on their own luck. Beast, get your people off the ship. Jump now. Everyone. This. Qin Shoshing's eyes were filled with endless fear. We're still very far from Japan. If we jump, I don't care how far we are from Japan. Life and death are up to fate. Su Yun. When you bullied Huaxia's fishing boat and deliberately overturned Huaxia's fishing boat, why didn't you think that they were very far from Huaxia? Don't talk nonsense with me. As he spoke, Su Yun had already placed a dagger at Qin Shoshing's chin. Do you want to know what kind of trash you will become if I stab you at the acupuncture point here? Qin Shoshing's chin trembled and he finally spoke. Jump into the sea. Jump into the sea. Immediately. Wang Dahu and the rest had just arrived when they saw groups of Japanese soldiers jumping into the sea. What the heck? Little Hachi sucked in a cold breath. This Su Yun really had some tricks up his sleeve. He made the Japanese jump into the sea themselves. Awesome. One had to know that this sea area was a famous shark area. With so many people jumping into the sea, they would definitely attract a group of sharks. These people were probably doomed. At this moment, a helicopter flew over from the sky. The Japanese flag on the helicopter was especially eye-catching. It seemed that the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force was really going all out to catch Su Yun and the rest. They had already been discovered by the helicopter. If the helicopter reported back, it would definitely attract a large number of Japanese warships. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. Then they heard a boom. The Stinger missile was originally used for anti-aircraft attacks. After locking onto the target, it flew out. A huge explosion sounded in the sky. Black smoke billowed. The second-generation AH-1G Huey Cobra military helicopter didn't even have time to see the situation in the sea before it exploded. What the heck? These two people are too daring. Wang Daha's jaw almost dropped. The other people on the two speedboats were so shocked that they couldn't close their mouths. You actually dared to fire at the Japanese Imperial Forces helicopter. Qin Shoshing, who was already mentally ill, actually dared to be angry. He felt that his bottom line as a soldier of the Imperial Force was mercilessly torn apart. Su Yun sneered. I still want to fire at your boat. You can stay here and be buried with your boat. Right after he said that, Su Yun used a karate chop on the back of Qin Shoshing's neck. Qin Shoshing didn't even make a sound before he fell to the ground. Lin Ge jumped down from a high place. Brother, there's only one Stinger missile. Let's quickly retreat. Boss Wang arranged for a speedboat to pick us up. It's just below. Brother Su Yun. Brother Lin Ge. We're here to pick you up. Wang Dahu was already shouting from below the boat. Su Yun didn't waste any more time. He immediately jumped down from the destroyer with Lin Ge and landed steadily on the speedboat. Wang Dahu saw the two of them and gave them a thumbs up. You've got guts. People with the blood of the Yellow Emperor should have guts. Your boat is already filled with fuel. Hurry up and leave this place. I've already arranged for someone to send Miss Gu to Xinjiang. Your boat is fast. Maybe they haven't arrived yet when you return. I won't leave until I'm done here. Su Yun said. I've already settled this boat today. Brother Dahu, you should distance yourself from me so that you won't be implicated. Don't worry. I won't be implicated. Wang Dahu said. Their deputy prime minister, Su Dalong, wanted to eat on my boat many times, but I didn't let him on. This time, I took the initiative to invite him. I believe he'll be here soon. If Su Dalong is on my boat, the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force won't dare to do anything. However, you have to leave as soon as possible. You can't let them get hold of my weakness. As for this boat, you can do whatever you want with it. With that, Wang Dahu took out a javelin missile and threw it to Su Yun. If you hit the fuel tank, this boat will sink steadily. Brother Su Yun, let's part ways here. Wang Dahu brought little Hachi and the others back to the main boat on his speedboat. He left the rest to Su Yun and the others. Su Yun smiled knowingly. Wang Dahu was a straightforward person. If he continued to dawdle, he would seem pretentious. Then he might as well do it and leave. Pigeon, where's the fuel tank of this type of destroyer? Brother, why don't you let me test how to use this missile? Lin Ge rubbed his hands. He also wanted to sink this destroyer with his own hands. Chapter 1087. The sound of the explosion rang out above the empty sea. The huge waves pushed Su Yun and Wang Dahu's speedboat high into the sky and heavily smashed into the sea. Before the first wave subsided, another wave rose. The huge destroyer experienced 3 internal explosions before it finally calmed down. Looking at the destroyer sinking into the sea bit by bit, Su Yun had an indescribable feeling of satisfaction in his heart. The 10,000 birds that many Asian fishermen hated had finally sunk into the sea where it often ran amok. And the captain of this ship was a beast. He would forever accompany the 10,000 birds that had been despicable with him for many years to the bottom of the sea. Some of the Japanese soldiers who jumped into the sea to escape were knocked into the deep sea by the huge waves and could no longer float up. Some were thrown to unknown places by the huge waves. The entire sea was a mess, but the absorption ability of the sea was extremely strong. It quickly swallowed up all the mess. The calm sea surface was as if nothing had happened. Occasionally, a few floating corpses were also quickly taken care of by the sharks that were attracted over. Wang Dahu signaled Su Yun to leave quickly. Su Yun knew that a straightforward person like Wang Dahu liked to do straightforward things. If he stayed, he would only cause trouble for him. Brother Dahu will meet again. Su Yun said loudly. Su Yun will remember today's kindness. If there's anything you need from me, Su Yun, in the future, get someone to send a message to Xinjiang Xinkai Hotel. Su Yun will definitely go through water and tread on fire without hesitation. Brother, you're too serious. It's not worth mentioning. If you have the time in the future, my Dahu Seafood City's sea restaurant will welcome you and your friends at any time. Wang Dahu replied with a smile. After bidding farewell to Wang Dahu, Lin Ge rushed back to Xinjiang. Su Yun also contacted Yi Fala immediately and asked her to arrange for Chang and the others to get a few speedboats and go out to sea to welcome them. After all, Ling Feng might not know the exact location of the yacht club. Therefore, they needed to expand the range of the welcome. After Wang Dahu and the others returned to the main ship, they immediately ordered everyone to quickly hide their weapons. Although Su Dalong loved Wang Dahu because of the delicious food, he was still the deputy prime minister of Japan. If he found out that they had something to do with the sinking of the destroyer, he might not be able to love them as much as he loved them. The huge explosion on the surface of the sea naturally did not escape the ears of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. The destroyers of the frigate group all rushed over to the location of the accident. Since Asu Dalong was rushing to Wang Dahu's restaurant ship in a helicopter with a speed of more than 350 kilometers per hour, it was much faster than the other ships. Because of the distance, they were not affected by the explosion. Moreover, the helicopter was very noisy, and the people in the helicopter were wearing headphones, so they did not hear the explosion. After Wang Dahu and his men packed up everything, Asu Dalong's helicopter arrived at the helicopter landing point of Dahu Seafood City's secondary platform. Recently, Asu Dalong had been living a happy life. The more trouble Prime Minister Enpei faced, the happier he felt. The louder the clamor for Enpei to step down, the greater the chance of Asu Dalong being promoted. These were all things that were proportional. Therefore, the more worried Enpei was, the happier Asu Dalong was. Now Enpei was racking his brains in the Prime Minister's residence to apologize to old Miko. He was kowtowing and kneeling to ask for their help. However, Asu Dalong threw everything in his hands aside. He did not care who did it. If things were not done well, all the people's conflicts would be shifted to Enpei. It had nothing to do with Asu Dalong. No matter what, he was still the deputy prime minister. Even if the sky fell, there was still the deputy prime minister to hold it up. This was different from Huaxia. If it was Huaxia, even if the sky fell, the deputy prime minister would definitely be the scapegoat. Even if there was a small matter on a daily basis, it would be the temporary workers who would take the blame for the establishment, right? Mr. Wang, I have made so many reservations. Every time, you said it was inconvenient. I thought you did not welcome me. After Asu Dalong got off the plane, he walked over with a smile. Wang Dahu waved his hand. How can that be? Even if I don't welcome anyone, I welcome Prime Minister Asu. It's just that for a long time, I have been in disguise. I really can't personally cook for Prime Minister Asu. Therefore, I can only delay it again and again. But now, I am especially energetic. I will definitely treat Prime Minister Asu well. Although Wang Dahu said so, he was already cursing in his heart. How can I welcome a Japanese like you? If it wasn't for the fact that I am afraid of causing a big conflict, I would have castrated you and thrown you into the sea to feed the sharks. Ha ha ha, with Mr. Wang's words, my trip is really worth it. Asu Dalong said. I wonder what specialties Mr. Wang has prepared this time? I am the glutton that Huaxia calls a glutton. You must not disappoint me. Asu Dalong felt very comfortable. Being addressed as Prime Minister by Wang Dahu without the word deputy made him feel very different. If it was in Japan, where the hierarchy was strict, no one would dare to call him that. Everyone would add the word deputy and call him Deputy Prime Minister Asu. It sounded awkward. Definitely not, definitely not. Wang Dahu said, I know that Prime Minister Asu is a top-notch gourmet and that you like fresh and strong flavors. Therefore, I specially prepared a few specialties of live food. Huaishan fish roe, white jade dolphin sashimi, soy flatfish, everything. Mr. Wang, the glutton in my stomach has been completely aroused by you. Quick, quick, quick. I want to taste Mr. Wang's cooking now. Asu Dalong said eagerly. At this moment, Xiaoba ran forward and pointed at the sea in the distance. Boss, look. Why are there so many Japanese warships? Did something happen? It's true. Wang Dahu looked around and said. What happened? Prime Minister Asu, you are the Prime Minister of Japan. You must know what happened, right? Asu Dalong frowned. What could have happened? He did not hear Enpei mention anything about it. Boss, why do I feel that these warships are coming for us? Could it be that they want to catch corruption and eat on public funds? Public vehicles for private? No, it's a public helicopter for private use? Xiaoba said as he looked at Asu Dalong. Asu Dalong frowned even more. Enpei would not go so far as to use military forces to catch him just because he used a public helicopter to eat something new at sea, right? What nonsense are you talking about? Wang Dahu stared at Xiaoba. Don't you know who Prime Minister Asu is? Who dares to touch him? Let me tell you, Japan will belong to Prime Minister Asu sooner or later. These warships will also belong to him. Why would they come to catch him? Xiaoba nodded. That's true. Prime Minister, so what happened? Do you need to call and ask? You are the leader. You should be in control of the situation, Wang Dahu said. The corner of Su Dalong's mouth twitched. That old bastard in pay really did not tell him anything at all. He actually hid such a big operation from him. What an unforgivable old bastard. It shouldn't be a big deal. Su Dalong put away his cold expression and said calmly, Do you have a loudspeaker on your ship? I will ask them what is going on. Prime Minister Su, you have to hurry up and ask them. Why do I feel that they are preparing weapons? Wang Dahu hurriedly said. It doesn't matter if my ship is blown up or sunk. But if anything happens to you, it will be troublesome. Don't you think so? Su Dalong panicked when he heard that. He quickly took the loudspeaker from Xiaoba and started cursing at the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces destroyers that were surrounding them. Suddenly, the Deputy Prime Minister's cursing came from the vast sea. All the captains instantly had goosebumps all over their bodies. What the hell is going on? Why was the Deputy Prime Minister involved in the sea? Was this a joke? Su's cursing actually managed to chase the warships away. Chapter 1088. Su Yun and Ling Ge drove the boat back to Xinjiang, and happened to meet Chang, and the others who brought Ling Feng, and Gu Qia to the shore of the yacht entertainment department. Wang Dahu's hand knife was really heavy. Gu Qia still hadn't woken up. He probably did it on purpose to prevent Gu Qia from making a ruckus on the boat, when she woke up and Ling Feng couldn't sail the boat in peace. It was just that he didn't control it well, causing Gu Qia to be in a coma for a while. Su Yin expressed his sincere gratitude to Ling Feng. Ling Feng said, My boss's benefactor is my benefactor. It's my duty to do these things. No matter how Su Yin and the others tried to persuade Ling Feng to stay for a meal in Xinjiang, Ling Feng did not agree. He only wanted to rush back. He was very worried about Dahu Seafood City Sea Restaurant, so he could only decline Su Yin and the others' hospitality. Chang went to fill Ling Feng's boat with fuel. The reserve tank was also filled with fuel. He also prepared some water and fast food. Even if they didn't stay for dinner in Xinjiang, they still needed to replenish their energy on the way. Ling Feng was very happy with the hospitality of everyone. After bidding farewell to everyone, he embarked on the return journey again. At this time, the sky was basically dark. Fortunately, Ling Feng was very familiar with the sea route at night after following Wang Dahu for a year. He didn't find it difficult. After sending Ling Feng off, everyone rushed back to Xinkai Hotel. Gu Qia was still in a coma. Because it was a girl, it was convenient for Yi Fala to take care of her. So she was left in the bedroom for Yi Fala to take care of. Su Yun and the others went to the suite's reception room to rest. Dan Jiahao hurriedly brewed the tea. He really wanted to hear what new and interesting stories Big Brother Yun had encountered on this trip. Brother Yun, you're really good. You went out to sea for a whole day and brought back a beauty. Chang said. Where did you go? Su Yun was so tired that he sat on the sofa. He picked up the remote control and turned on the TV to broadcast the news channel. Ling Ge shrugged. I'm afraid that you'll be scared if I tell you. This time, we directly barged into Japan's central island before we managed to save her. On the way back, my brother and I sank the Japanese destroyer Wanyao. There were 170 Japanese soldiers on the ship. I reckon that some of them have been fed to the sharks, while others have sunk to the bottom of the sea. Keep bragging. Dan Hongning chuckled. Little brother Pigeon, you're bragging a bit too much. Hee hee, you destroyed a destroyer and now you're driving a speedboat? Isn't this too cool? I'm a coward if I lie to you, Ling Ge said seriously. Lu Feng sighed and looked at Su Yun. Brother Yin, what the pigeon said can't be true, right? You guys really got a Japanese destroyer? That's a warship from the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. Kong Zhong's eyes widened as he said, Brother Yin, aren't you guys going overboard? Little brother Pigeon must be teasing us. Dan Hongning said, Brother Yin, right? Compared to the three of them, Dan Jiahao was convinced. What's the big deal about destroying a Japanese destroyer? As long as Brother Yin dares to think about it, it's not impossible to destroy the entire Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. You guys still don't believe me. Look at who Brother Yin is. Everyone's eyes were focused on Su Yun. They wanted to hear Su Yun admit to it. However, Su Yun just drank his tea and watched the news on TV without saying a word. At this moment, the female anchor's clear voice came from the TV. Our reporter has a special piece of news from Japan. This afternoon, in the high seas between our country and Japan's central island, the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces Wanyao sank. The reason for the sinking is unknown. Please listen to our reporter's detailed report. The scene changed and the foreign correspondent held the microphone in high spirits. He could not hide the excitement in his voice as he reported. Just this afternoon, there was a huge explosion in the high seas between our country and Japan. The cause of the explosion was a Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces destroyer called Wanyao. We might not be familiar with this destroyer, but it's very notorious at sea. It often intimidates and threatens fishermen from various countries who go fishing in the high seas, so no one likes this warship. When they heard this report, everyone present was stunned. The teacup in Chang Zi's hand almost fell to the ground. Dan Hongning's eyeballs almost fell out. What the? Brother Yin is indeed Brother Yin. He even dares to attack a warship. He's the pride of Huaxia, the legend of Huaxia. That D***MN Wanyao had done so much evil. They should have sunk it long ago. If it wasn't for the principle of peaceful coexistence in face, it wouldn't have been allowed to act so arrogantly at sea for so many years. The cause of the explosion of the infamous Wanyao is still unknown. The Japanese authorities are investigating this matter. Our station will continue to bring news to all of you. That's all I've learned here. Host. The scene quickly changed to the studio. The female host continued in a clear voice. All right, thank you for bringing us the news. It seems that Japan has gotten into trouble recently. The sinking of the Wanyao destroyer is definitely not caused by a simple reason. We will continue to follow up on the reports. This is today's news brought to everyone by our station. Goodbye. After the news was broadcast, everyone finally recovered from their shock. Big Brother Yin, Big Brother Pigeon, you two are too awesome. Dan Jiahao was the first to cry out. Can you bring me along when you do such a satisfying thing in the future? I also want to teach those Japanese a lesson. Brother Yin, you must give me a chance next time. Do you think it's so easy? Linga said. My brother and I almost didn't make it back. If you had gone, you would have sunk to the bottom of the sea. Then I can do odd jobs next time, Dan Jiahao said. Dan Hongning glared at his brother. Do you think Brother Yin and the rest are joking? What can you do with this kind of thing? You'll only cause more trouble. Don't cause trouble for Brother Yin. Hurry up and pour tea for Brother Yin to relax. Dan Jiahao hurriedly poured tea for Su Yin. Brother Yin, you dare to do such a big thing. Lu Feng said. Will the Japanese find out soon? I'm afraid they don't have the ability. Su Yin finally spoke. None of you are allowed to speak of this matter to the outside world. You must not make it public. Once the Japanese get hold of it, they will pour all the dirty water on our Huaxia. Be careful with your mouths, pigeon, especially you. Got it? Got it. Linga nodded vigorously. They really couldn't let outsiders know about this. The Japanese definitely wouldn't be able to find out. Without evidence, it was useless to say anything. Su Yin believed that Wang Dahu would take care of the rest. Now Prime Minister Abe of Japan probably wouldn't be able to sleep again. In the past few months, he hadn't encountered any good things. Far away in Japan, in the Yasukuni Ghost Society, Abe III was drinking alone. He looked up at the ancestors who were worshipping him and cursed angrily. You're all King trash. I worship you like this. Why don't you bless me? You bunch of bastards. Bastards. Crash. The wine bottle was smashed to the ground by Enpei. I'm telling you, if you don't bless me, then don't blame me for being rude. Enpei continued to curse. If I step down, as long as I, Enpei, am still alive, I'll burn all of you. If it weren't for worshipping you, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Bastards. You're a bunch of old bastards. Even after death, you still want to cause trouble for the Japanese Empire. What's the use of worshipping you? Chapter 1089. It had been an hour since Gu Qia arrived at Xinkai Hotel, but she still hadn't regained consciousness. Su Yin couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Wang Dahu was really willing to lay his hands on her. Yi Fala had no other choice but to let Gu Qia sleep until she woke up naturally. She also came out of the bedroom and went to the living room to listen to Lin Jiyi's story. Anyway, this matter couldn't be talked about outside. It was good to let Lin Ge talk about it here. Lin Ge talked about how they met Gu Qia, how they helped a lot in Canada, and how Gu Qia was implicated by them and Kevin Matthew. Dan Jiahao sighed with emotion. It was all his fault for not having the ability. If he also had the ability of a pigeon, he could also follow Brother Yun to travel the world. How he went deep into Japan's Iguchi group to seduce Miss Iguchi, how he destroyed Vancouver's rival Indian gang, how he rushed into Middle Island to deal with the Japanese, how he met Wang Dahu of Dahu Seafood City's Sea Restaurant, how he used Stinger missiles to destroy Little Japan's helicopter, how he used javelin missiles to blow up the fuel tank of the destroyer Wan Niao. Just listening to it made Dan Jiahao's blood boil. Who didn't like these exciting things as a hot-blooded young man? It sounds like your life is really full of passion. Yi Fala shook her head enviously. Unlike me, I can only stay in Xinjiang. I can't even go 30 kilometers away from the hotel. Sigh, life is sad. Sister Yi, didn't you also travel the south and north in the past? Didn't you hit teachers and kick their legs? Little Dongbei smiled. I heard from the kitchen that you even went to the Golden Triangle. You're really a strong woman. If I didn't go to the Golden Triangle, would I have fallen to this point? Yi Fala rolled her eyes at little Dongbei. It was because I was confused by Brother Yun's manliness that I believed him, and brought him to the Golden Triangle. That was why he handcuffed my hands and handed me to the police. Su Yun smiled awkwardly. Let's not talk about this. Besides, I didn't use the beauty trap. Sister Yizi, Brother Yun has put a lot of thought into this. Dan Hongning helped Su Yun to explain. If it weren't for Brother Yun saving you from the abyss of misery, who knows what would have happened to you now? Look at those big drug dealers who were caught later. Which one of them wasn't a felony? The lightest punishment was a reprieve. Of course, Yi Fala understood. I really have to thank Su Yun for this matter. Now that I think about it, I really regret it. It's not your fault. It's caused by the environment. Su Yun, in fact, Yi Fala's nature wasn't bad. It was because she was adopted by a big drug dealer back then. If she had been adopted by a great philanthropist, she might have been a great philanthropist by now. She would definitely be more famous than Chen Guangbiao. It's all in the past. Let's not talk about it. Yi Fala shook his head and pouted towards the bedroom. What are you going to do with the lady inside? Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. Let's wait. No matter what, Wang Dahu is still a master-level expert. He definitely knows what he's doing. He won't hurt anyone. It's good to let her sleep. She can also calm down. I'm not saying that it's not good for her to sleep. I'm just saying once she wakes up, what are you going to do? Yi Fala raised her eyebrows. Su Yun was really in a difficult position now. It'll be fine if she wakes up. What else is there to do? Dan Jiahao said. Are you going to send her back to Vancouver? Didn't the pigeon guy say that the Americans' agents had already raided the Chinese society in Canada? If you send her back, isn't that like stuffing a lamb into a wolf's mouth? The Americans definitely won't let go of such a fat little fresh meat. You know quite a lot. Yi Fala said. You also know that the Americans' agents have already raided the Chinese society. Who did it? Isn't it because Su Yun brought that Kevin Matthew back to Huaxia using the Big Circle's arms merchant ship? That's why the Big Circle was so tragically attacked, right? Yes. Dan Jiahao nodded. Yi Fala glared. So this matter is directly related to Su Yun. If it wasn't for Su Yun, the Big Circle wouldn't have been attacked like this. The Big Circle wouldn't have been attacked like this, and Miss Gu wouldn't have been reduced to such a state. After a pause, Yi Fala continued. Previously, Gu Qia wasn't able to argue with Su Yun because the situation didn't allow it. There were Japanese soldiers searching for her, and they ran all the way. It wasn't easy for them to escape the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces pursuit. No one was in the mood to question them. But now, everything is settled. Su Yun, think about it yourself. Once Gu Qia wakes up, What will you do? Soo-yun laughed bitterly. She'll definitely question me. But I really have no choice. Who would have thought that things would develop to this state? Brother Matthew is really a talent, Lu Feng said. The Americans actually made such a big fuss. To be able to do something as capable as him. He must be at the peak of his life. A genius is a genius. No matter where he goes, he doesn't have to worry about not having enough to eat. You think the Americans care about any genius? Soo-yun said, a strong military force is very important to a country. If Kevin Matthew can be used by Hwaseong, our national defense will reach a new height. Only when our national defense is strong can we defend our country's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and guard against foreign invasion. Churchill had a good saying. We don't have eternal friends or eternal enemies, only eternal benefits. The meaning of this was very clear. National defense is directly related to a country's security, the dignity of its people, and the development of society. If you have a strong military force, everyone will be your friend. If you don't, others will bully you, and your friends will become your enemies. Everyone nodded seriously. After all, they were ordinary people and had no chance to be exposed to these national affairs. Today, after listening to Soo-yun, they realized the importance of national defense and the importance of a country's military force. There are roughly 4 types of contemporary national defense. Military geniuses are especially important for an expansionist country, like the United States. In order to protect their country's interests around the world, they pursue hegemonism, invade, subvert, and infiltrate other countries. They all need the help of military geniuses. Our Hwaseong belongs to the self-defense type. We mainly rely on our own strength to widely win international support, prevent foreign invasion, maintain national security, adhere to the principle of peaceful and independent defense, never expand, and do not allow other countries to invade our country. Therefore, our Hwaseong also needs military geniuses very much. Soo-yun's explanation was very detailed. Europe belongs to the alliance type. In the form of an alliance, they unite with other countries to make up for their lack of strength. However, the alliance type is also divided into the expansion type and the self-defense type. It can also be divided into the one-yuan alliance and the multi-yuan alliance. The former requires a big country to be the leader. Small and underdeveloped countries will strictly adhere to a peaceful and neutral national defense policy and formulate an overall defense strategy and a defense system to protect the soldiers and the people, such as Switzerland. Brother Yun, we have learned something today. Kong Zhong smacked his lips and said, in the past, I always thought that the country could have some problems. Now that I think about it, the country really has a lot of problems. It's really not easy to be a leader. Soo-yun smiled slightly. Yes, it's really not easy to be a leader. Sometimes the people also need to understand the country and the leaders. Like us who do business, we must not evade taxes. Taxes are economic capital. Without the economy, how can we develop the military? What do you think? As long as the government insists on fighting the tiger and doesn't let our people's money fall into the private pockets of those big tigers, I have no objections to paying more taxes. As long as the taxes paid are for the good of the people and for the safety of our country, Chong said angrily. These words were from the heart. If there were no corrupt officials in Hwaseong, the happiness of the people's lives would definitely increase by 100 times. The country's military power would also be 100 times stronger, and so would the national defense power. Support the government to keep fighting the tiger. Fight until there are no tigers in Hwaseong. Chapter 1090. Yi Fala's worry wasn't unnecessary. Once Gu Chia woke up, she would definitely question Soo-yun about some things. And these things were things that Soo-yun couldn't explain. Although it was all because of Kevin Matthew, it was even more impossible for Kevin Matthew to come out and explain. It was already fortunate that Kevin Matthew could understand his own situation. It was impossible to expect him to come out and explain this matter. The pressure that Soo-yun was facing was unavoidable. After all, it was all because of him. He had to give Gu Chia an explanation no matter what. It was already late at night. Everyone was satisfied with the story and went back to their own homes to rest. Soon only Su-yin and Yi-Fala were left in the room. Yi-Fala knew that Su-yin couldn't fall asleep, so she removed the strong tea and coffee in front of him. She warmed a cup of milk and passed it to him. You should rest too. I'm afraid that you weren't idle in Yanjing for the past few days, right? Su-yin smiled and thanked Yi-Fala for her concern. He drank the entire cup of milk. Yi-Zi, are you purposely not letting Guqia wake up? What do you mean? Am I jealous that she's younger than me? Yi-Fala smiled and said faintly, she's younger than me, but she's not as feminine as me. Childish little boys prefer fresh meat. And a mature man like you would definitely prefer feminine girls like me. Why would I be jealous of her? Su-yin coughed dryly. Wasn't she digressing? What did this have to do with him being mature or not, liking fresh meat or being feminine? Seeing Su-yun's helpless face, Yi-Fala waved her hand and said, I'm just joking to make you relax. I really don't want her to wake up. Her coma isn't serious, and she can wake up after pinching her philtrum. But after thinking about it, you'd better think of how to answer her question before she wakes up. Su-yin didn't say anything. This was the problem that gave him the most headache. Don't tell me that she won't ask you anything. And don't tell me that there will be a way when the car reaches the mountain. Yi-Fara said, now that the car has reached the mountain, you still haven't found the way. Maybe she might. Su-yin tried to find a reason to comfort himself. Yi-Fala directly shook her head and denied it. There isn't such a strong girl in this world. She might be able to persevere after falling into such a miserable state, but you also said that there's no news of her family. How do you expect her to be strong? Su-yin, you'd better take advantage of the time you have to think clearly. Obviously, Yi-Fala was considering everything from Su-yun's point of view. After saying this, she stood up and prepared to leave the room. You should take care of this lady. Whenever she wakes up, you'll need to solve the problem. I believe that your moral bottom line is still very strong. Even if a man and a woman are alone, you won't do anything out of line. At a time like this, how could he, Su-yin, still be in the mood to do anything out of line? Yi-Fala, you really know how to joke. Sigh. If I knew that Kevin Matthew would bring so much trouble to the big circle, I would definitely think of another way. Su-yin said lightly. Some things might be more complicated than I thought. Kevin Matthew wants to return to Huaxia for revenge, but I didn't bring him back to Huaxia for revenge. I hope that he can be used by our Huaxia. Although it's not to the extent that Matthew controls the world. Kevin Matthew's advanced military theory and unconstrained design imagination are definitely very important to a strong country's military theory. After pausing for a moment, Su-yin continued. The United States has so many military geniuses, but they still want to control Kevin Matthew and prevent him from being used by outsiders. The reason is very simple. Kevin Matthew definitely has the ability to design and manufacture advanced weapons and defense systems that even the United States Department of Defense is shocked and worried about. This is why I want to bring Kevin Matthew back to Huaxia. Even if he can't do anything for Huaxia, I don't want him to be under house arrest by the United States. If he can be used by Huaxia, that would be even better. The stronger the country, the better our lives will be. Yi-Fala nodded. She still understood this principle. But if I had known that bringing Kevin Matthew back to Huaxia through the Big Circle's arms merchant ship would bring such a disaster to the Big Circle, I definitely wouldn't have done it. Su-yin said with some pain. Not only did I let down Guqia, I let down the Big Circle, and I even let down the overseas Chinese. The negative impact this has brought to them is huge. If I had known this would happen, I would have dragged Matthew across the Pacific Ocean rather than implicate Guqia. I understand. Yi-Fala patted Su-yun's shoulder. Don't think about anything for now. Have a good sleep and explain to her tomorrow. Su-yin lowered his head. What else could he explain? Just let Guqia beat and scold him. Everything was caused by him. I'm leaving. Yi-Fala let out a long sigh. At this time, it was better to let Su-yin have some peace. However, Su-yin and Yi-Fala didn't expect that after everyone left, Guqia had already woken up while they were talking. Although the environment was unfamiliar and she was somewhat shocked, after hearing Su-yun's voice, Guqia calmed down. She quickly realized that she had left the sea. Since she could hear Su-yun's voice outside, it meant that his life was not in danger. Could it be that everything was over? Everything was safe? Gu Qia got up and walked to the bedside. In the high-rise suite of Xingkai Hotel, looking down on the entire Xinjiang gave people a feeling of superiority. The bright lights on the bund showed off the wealth and pride of this international metropolis. Thousands of miles away from the Pacific Ocean, the lights were also bright and the stars were gorgeous. However, everything had changed. Now Gu Qia indeed had too many questions in her heart that she wanted to ask Su Yun. However, after hearing Su Yun's words, all the questions were stuck in her heart. Perhaps she wouldn't listen to Su Yun's explanation, even if he explained it to her face. However, through this method, she could accept it more. Only by thinking about the problem from the perspective of a third party did Gu Qia understand how guilty and self-blaming Su Yun was at this moment. If she continued to question Su Yun, what was the point? Everything had already happened. Why not try to learn to let go? Only by learning to let go could everything be reignited with hope. Sometimes hope was just that simple. At this moment, Su Yun wasn't the only one who didn't have the courage. Gu Qia also didn't have the courage to face it. However, she finally decided to learn to let go. She summoned the courage to open the bedroom door. Su Yun turned his head following the sound of the door opening. Seeing Gu Qia standing at the door of the bedroom, he was really at a loss for a moment. Yi Fala was right. He really should think of something to say. Then he wouldn't be as speechless as he was now. Su Yun. Gu Qia spoke first to break the awkwardness of the silence. Su Yun could only smile faintly. You're awake. This is Xinjiang. We are all safe. The matter at sea has been settled. I've also avenged Paul and the mercenary brothers. Thank you. Gu Qia nodded. Gu Qia didn't fly into a rage. Instead, she said thank you. This really caught Su Yun off guard. Su Yun, I know that at this moment, you're just like me. You don't feel comfortable in your heart. Gu Qia said. I understand. I understand. I hope you don't keep it in your heart. Everything will fade with time. I know that everything that happened is also something you don't want to see. Really. Chapter 1091. What Gu Qia needed the most at this moment was a hug. What she needed was a warm and solid embrace to give her the sense of security she needed the most at this moment. Sometimes, the flame of passion would be triggered inadvertently. The moment the two hugged, the feelings in Gu Qia's heart were like a river bursting through a dam. She could no longer hold back the surging feelings. She needed the man in front of her who could give her strength. A kiss. Just like the red lips of a traditional cocktail, Su Yun enjoyed the passion and warmth, but she was also aware of the potential danger lurking in every corner. That kind of fire that was teasing her heart refused to be extinguished. The difference between humans and animals was not as simple as being able to walk upright. Nor was it just that humans learned how to use fire. The difference between humans and animals was that humans were complex, while animals were simple. Humans can think logically, but animals can't. Humans would use emotions to achieve certain goals, but animals would not. Humans would work hard to become better than others, but animals would not. Humans would create and invent necessities for survival, but animals would not. Animals would only think about what to eat today, but humans would not only think about that. Animals would like what they liked. If they did not like it, they would not pretend to like it. But humans were not like that. Animals would only do what they wanted to do, but humans were not as simple as they thought. Therefore, Su Yun's strong moral bottom line clearly told him that if anything happened between him and Gu Qia at this time, it would be no different from taking advantage of her. Because at this moment, Gu Qia did not have any psychological defenses at all. The only person she could trust now was Su Yun. The only person who could give her a sense of security now was Su Yun. Su Yun. Only Su Yun. In this world, she suddenly had no one else except Su Yun. People had rich emotions, so they had rich changes. At this moment, Gu Qia could only express her feelings in this way. And Su Yun was sober. He knew that he could not do this. If he did this, he would not be able to face Gu Qia in the future. The moment Su Yun pushed Gu Qia away, Gu Qia wasn't surprised. If Su Yun wasn't such a moral person, she wouldn't have fallen in love with him so desperately. I don't need you to be responsible for me, Guchia said calmly. Su-yin shook his head. But I need to take responsibility. As a responsible person, he would never do such a thing. For those who like to be irresponsible, they would definitely be elated. You're tired. You need to rest, Su-yin said. If there's anything, we can talk tomorrow. Stay with me. Guchia didn't hide her inner thoughts at all. Su-yin shook his head. He could not accompany her. If he accompanied Guchia tonight, something would definitely happen. Then coax me to sleep before you leave. Guchia said. I only have such a small request. Can't you satisfy me? Sigh, all right. Su-yin nodded. Looking at the pitiful Guchia, he could only choose to compromise. Guchia indeed needed someone to accompany her. The excessive shock these past few days was already unbearable for a girl like her. She needed someone to give her more comfort and a sense of security. In the bedroom, Su-yin asked Guchia to lie down, and then covered her with the blanket. Guchia suddenly grabbed Su-yin's arm and pulled him into her embrace. Su-yin directly threw himself onto Guchia's body. Although they were separated by the blanket, clothes, and so many messy things, Su-yin could still feel the surging and soft elasticity. Any man, no matter how strong his moral bottom line was, would definitely have a little impulse deep in his heart. After all, he was a man. If he didn't have a little impulse in this situation, then he was most likely gay, right? Who wouldn't be tempted by a strong and normal man? Below him was a great beauty who was as beautiful as a flower and jade, who needed his love and protection so much. Give her love and protection. A voice shouted in the depths of Su-yin's heart. Another voice immediately stood up and suppressed him. Don't you know what time it is now? Su-yin, you are the instructor of the Dragon Brigade and the Dragon Fury team. Yanlong, how could you take advantage of her when she is in danger? She may be muddle-headed at this time, but you, Su-yin, can't be muddle-headed. That's right. Su-yin couldn't be muddle-headed. If he touched Guchia at this time, he would be too much of a jerk. Chia, don't worry and sleep. I'll be next door. If you need anything, just shout and I'll come over immediately. Su-yin awkwardly got up from Guchia's body. Go to sleep, it's late. The more Su-yin acted like this, the more Guchia felt that Su-yin was worthy of her trust. Then go. Oh right, Su-yin. Thank you. Really? I'm already very satisfied that you don't blame me. Why are you still thanking me? Su-yin awkwardly shook his head. I know, this wasn't your original intention. You definitely didn't want things to turn out like this. Guchia said. You're a responsible person. That's why you took such a big risk to come to Middle Island to save me. Actually, you could have completely ignored me. What nonsense are you talking about? Su-yin lightly patted Guchia's head. Go to sleep. Everything will be fine. I can't possibly ignore your matter. Moreover, this matter was completely caused by me. Just like this, Guchia slowly fell asleep under Su-yin's comfort. Su-yin kept whispering in her ear. Guchia finally couldn't endure the erosion of fatigue for many days and slowly closed her eyes. After Guchia was completely asleep, Su-yin slowly got up, walked out of the bedroom with light steps, and closed the door. After leaving Guchia's suite, Su-yin walked to the sofa in the public resting area of the guest room floor. He sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette. In the lingering smoke, he was still at his wits' end. He could only pray that God would bless old Master Gu and the people in the big circle to be safe. In the time it took to smoke a cigarette, Yi-Fala appeared in front of Su-yin again. She seemed to have known that Su-yin would come to this place. How was it? Did you coax her to sleep? Yi-Fala smiled. Su-yin was startled. How did you know she was awake? I don't know. I just felt that way. Yi-Fala said. There's a saying that you can never wake up a person who's pretending to be asleep. You must know because I felt that she was unconscious and couldn't be woken up, so I felt that she was doing it on purpose. That's why I left first. But before I left, I deliberately induced you to say those words because she would only listen if you didn't say it in front of her. Su-yin finally understood Yi-Fala's painstaking efforts. He smiled knowingly. Easy, I really have to thank you. You're welcome. Yi-Fala picked up Su-yin's cigarette box and took out a cigarette. However, she didn't light it. She just held it and occasionally sniffed it. Women would age faster if they smoked. Yi Fala was very clear about this. Su Yun lit another cigarette. It could be seen that he, who didn't smoke usually, was full of worries at this moment. Don't smoke so much. The nicotine will make it harder for you to sleep, Yi Fala said indifferently. Before you want others to let go of everything, you have to let go of everything yourself. Do you understand what I mean? Of course he understood. Su Yun nodded and smiled. He accepted Yi Fala's good intentions and directly put out the cigarette in the ashtray. You go and rest. I want to be alone for a while. Okay, then you can be alone. If you still can't sleep, then I suggest you go to the wine lounge on the top floor and open 2 bottles of red wine to drink alone. Yi Fala smiled and stood up. I'll give you an easy-to-understand sentence. 5 words floating in the sky are not a problem. Even if it's a problem, it'll only be annoying for a while. It'll be fine after a while. Chapter 1092. If it was any other day, Yi Fala would definitely accompany Su Yun for a drink or 2. However, it wasn't appropriate now. Su Yun should be alone for a while and not think about anything. Only then would he be able to empty himself. Sometimes drinking 2 glasses of wine by himself felt quite good, overlooking the entire Shin River from the top floor of Shin Kai Hotel, listening to Yang 32nd Sun's Empty City, and drinking Yi Fala's collection of French red wine. This feeling was very suitable for Su Yun's current mood. In this modern city, there didn't seem to be much communication between people. There were fewer and fewer happy souls. Different stories but the same sadness. The seeds of sadness were planted in the depths of people's hearts. They were allowed to germinate and wreak havoc, but no good medicine could be found to cure them. Loneliness was everywhere in the busy crowd. The displacement of the heart made the estranged world like an empty city. In the rising and falling melody, what was being chanted was the persistence and belief of the people who didn't want to give up in the spiritual home that was gradually collapsing and turning into ruins. In the desert, people were always in self-exile between their ideals and reality. After being reborn, they understood the value of returning to the true meaning of life. 2 bottles of red wine were really nothing to Su Yun. Unknowingly, they were quickly finished. The head waiter on the night shift at the bar immediately followed Yi Fala's instructions and prepared to get the wine for Su Yun. However, he was stopped by Su Yun. Don't get it. If I drink like this, it's simply a waste. Just get me 2 bottles of whiskey. Don't be so wasteful. Yi Fala was the owner of the hotel, and Su Yun was also the owner of the hotel. The head waiter didn't dare to disobey and didn't get the collection anymore. He directly changed it to a 21-year-old premium whiskey Royal Salute. He was afraid that Su Yun wouldn't be able to taste it, so he also took some pistachios, cashews, almonds and other dried fruits to match. Su Yun was quite satisfied with this. He directly gave the head waiter 32 likes. Just as Su Yun was enjoying this leisurely drinking alone, a person suddenly came in front of Su Yun and sat in the seat opposite him. A young man with a tall stature was holding an expensive bottle of Latour Manners collection in his hand. Alone. Su Yun nodded his head in agreement. Why don't we drink together? After saying that, the man filled Su Yun's glass with red wine. Su Yun was stunned. Why does this guy look like he's advertising for Trip? Her lines were exactly the same as Deng Chao's. Of course, Su Yun couldn't be like the girls in the commercials, bowing his head and smiling and agreeing to go on a trip together. It's good to be alone, Su Yun smiled, but he did not refuse the wine poured by the other party. He took the wine glass and drank it in one gulp. After drinking, Su Yun immediately poured a clean whiskey glass full of whiskey and pushed it to the tall young man. Courtesy demands reciprocity. Seeing that the other party had no intention of drinking, Su Yun added, It's just that the wine isn't good enough, but it's strong enough. I like it. I definitely didn't mean that the wine isn't good enough, the man said. It's just that I really can't hold my liquor. I can't drink high alcohol content white wine, whiskey, vodka. It's better to have something red. Su Yun did not force him. He filled his cup to the brim and drank more than half of it. The foreman over there saw that, and had already prepared a second bottle of Royal Salute. When Su Yun finished this bottle, he was ready to send it forward at any time. Chairman Yi had told him that Chairman Su's alcohol tolerance was very high. It was definitely an alcohol tolerance that he couldn't imagine. Chairman Su good alcohol tolerance. The other party just took a sip of red wine and said with a smile. Su Yun was stunned. You know me. I heard Sister Yi mention you a few times. The other party said lightly. Maybe she didn't mention me to you. My name is Zhou Wanjia. The speedboat you went out to sea on this time is mine. Ah. Su Yun became enthusiastic. This was a favor. Thank you so much, Brother Wanjia. I just asked Yizi and asked her to arrange it. No matter what, I have to give you 2 glasses of wine. You're welcome, you're welcome. We're all on the same side. Zhou Wanjia smiled. Chairman Su, you're too polite. Su Yun filled the glass to the brim. I have to give you this glass of wine. If it wasn't for your help, I really don't know what to do. You're welcome. Zhou Wanjia was caught off guard by Su Yun's straightforwardness. He hurriedly picked up the glass. However, Su Yun drank it in one gulp again. Zhou Wanjia couldn't even drink red wine. He braced himself and drank it. He only drank half a glass. Zhou Wanjia put down the glass and hurriedly picked up 2 almonds on the table and threw them into his mouth. Although this fellow loved wine and was very good at tasting wine, drinking in such large gulps was really not his strong suit. It seems that Brother Wanjia can't hold his liquor. Su Yun. No rush to drink, no rush to drink. We'll be friends in the future. If Brother Wanjia needs any help from Su Yun, as long as it's within Su Yun's ability, I'll definitely not refuse. Boss Su is really a straightforward person. I like to make friends with straightforward people. Zhou Wanjia said. Boss Su, if you don't mind, I'll call you Brother Su in the future. Of course I don't mind. Su Yun. Brother Wanjia. You can say that because you think highly of me. Come, let me give you another toast. After that, Su Yun filled his glass again. When the manager of the bar saw Su Yun drinking like this, he quickly opened another bottle and sent it over. It seemed that Boss Su liked the taste of this wine. Zhou Wanjia originally wanted to chat a little more, but when he saw the whole bottle of whiskey, he was immediately afraid of Su Yun. If he drank like this, even if he took the red wine sip by sip, he would not be able to go home in the end. Brother Su, drinking too much wine is bad for the body. It's better to drink less. Zhou Wanjia said. I can't hold my liquor, so I won't drink with you. Brother Wanjia, I'm a straightforward person. Wine is indeed not a good thing, but with a good friend, 1,000 cups are not enough. Su Yun. You've helped me so much. If I don't give you a few glasses of wine, then I really don't know how to be a person. Although Zhou Wanjia was smiling on the surface, he was crying in his heart. If he didn't drink a toast, it meant that he didn't give face. That meant that he was going to drink a forfeit. He really couldn't hold his liquor. Come, drink. I'll drink. You can drink as much as you want. Su Yun finished speaking and drank. The culture of Huaxia's drinking table was very special. People who drank knew that once someone said that he would drink as much as you want, it meant that he wanted to take care of you, but you couldn't really drink as much as you want. If you really drank as much as you wanted, then you had to drink as well. That would be showing respect to the other party. Even if you really couldn't hold your liquor, you had to drink half of it to show respect to the person who gave you the toast. This was the culture of Huaxia's drinking table. If you didn't even know this, you were destined to not be able to make friends. Su Yun was so straightforward that Zhou Wanjia couldn't hold it anymore. He could only get up and find an excuse. Brother Su, it's not that I don't want to drink with you. First, I can't hold my liquor. Second, my family has a rule that I have to be home before 12 o'clock at night. It's time now. I really can't drink with you. You're already so old. There's a rule? Su Yun smiled. Strict family upbringing. Hee, I'm a disciple of a famous family. Brother Su, you're joking. Zhou Wanjia said. Let's meet again when we have time. Zhou Wanjia originally wanted to have a good chat with Su Yun, but looking at Su Yun's alcohol tolerance, he obviously wasn't a gay man. He was definitely a forthright man. If he were to express his intentions, he would probably be beaten up. It was better to save this matter. After all, Someone who could get Yi Fala out of prison was definitely not an ordinary person. Although his Zhou family had a big business, he also knew that there was always someone better than him. Even if they couldn't become gay friends, they could at least become friends. After his father retired, he would have some connections when he took over. If he encountered any trouble, he would have a helper. Chapter 1093. After a night of hangover, as long as Su Yun asked for alcohol, the foreman wouldn't dare to not give it to him. One glass after another, the person drinking was fine, but the person serving the alcohol was scared. The night shift foreman tried to stop Su Yun once, but Su Yun glanced at him and stopped him. He was the boss, so what if he wanted to drink his own alcohol? How could it be up to a worker like him to tell him what to do? The bitter part was that Yi Fala had told him that as long as Su Yun wanted alcohol, he would give it to him. However, it could not exceed 12 bottles. 12 bottles were considered a dozen. Even if one person drank beer, 12 bottles should be enough, right? But Su Yun couldn't stop drinking. It lasted longer than the chewing gum that couldn't be stopped. It was ridiculously long. How could a dozen be enough for Su Yun? Excluding 2 bottles of precious red wine, Su Yun finished 12 bottles of Royal Salute. He felt that it wasn't enough, so he drank 2 bottles of gin and asked for tequila and vodka. Originally, Yi Fala wanted him to drink a few glasses, but he didn't expect Su Yun to drink until he was full. He was worried that he couldn't solve the problem in Vancouver. As the saying goes, drinking to drown one's worries makes one even more worried. Su Yun's current state was to drown one's worries in alcohol, making one even more worried. Last night, the bar foreman was scolded by Yi Fala with an aggrieved face. "What did I say to you? Tell me, what did I say to you? You said that as long as CEO Su wants alcohol, we should give it to him." The foreman said with his head drooped. "I said what alcohol? Is it red wine?" Yi Fala said angrily. "Yes, red wine." The foreman cried, hoping that Chang and the rest could speak for him. "Then why did you give him vodka? And whiskey? Look, you even gave him tequila, such a strong alcohol. Did my words fall on deaf ears?" Yi Fala said. "I said there must be a limit to the alcohol. 12 bottles are enough. What about you? Look at you, these bottles add up to more than 20 bottles, right? Even a water buffalo can get drunk, let alone a human." The foreman didn't dare to say anything and lowered his head. Alas, he was so unlucky. Who asked him to be on duty last night? If it were someone else, he would be the one to see the joke today. When Yi Fara saw Su Yun sleeping on the table, he had a headache. He directly put his anger on the foreman. "Okay, don't say anything. I think you should just pack up and leave. You didn't listen to me at all. Can you do your job well?" I. The foreman felt wronged. "Sister Yezi, you can't blame him for this." Chang finally spoke up for him. After all, it was Brother Yun who wanted to drink. He was also put in a difficult position. "Don't be angry about this. I'll give him a good scolding later." Lu Feng also nodded and persuaded Yi Fara. "Yes, President Yi. After all, it was Brother Yun who wanted it. If I was here, I couldn't not give it to him. Brother Yun has been upset recently. We can all see this." Yi Fara also understood this. She let go of her anger and didn't argue with a small foreman anymore. "Think of a way to sober him up," Yi Fara said. "This isn't a solution. If it doesn't work, send him to the hospital to wash his stomach." "Sister Yezi, it's okay. I know my brother's alcohol tolerance. There will be no problem," Lin Ge said. "You give him to me. I'll think of a way to make sure he's full of energy before noon." Yi Fara shook her head helplessly. Seeing Su Yun drunk like this, how could she not feel distressed? "I'll go buy some hangover medicine. Is it the Sea King's golden goblet or the 1,000 cups not drunk? Which one is better? Who has used it before? Share your experience," Chang said. "There's no need for anything. Those things don't have much use," Lin Ge said. "I feel that my brother's drunkenness isn't just because of alcohol. A large part of it is because of his thoughts. How about this? I'll name a few Chinese medicines. Help me buy them." Chang nodded. "Say it. I'll remember." Lin Ge counted with his fingers and said, Sephora flavescens, chrysanthemum, white bean, nutmeg, citrus, kudzu flower, grass fruit, galangal. What's the use of these things? Yi Fara frowned. She felt that it would be better to just drink hangover medicine. Hangover medicine can't lack these things. These things all have a history. There are records of them in famous doctors, compendium of materia medica, and drug test. Lin Ge said, they are all Chinese medicines that can warm the intestines, warm the stomach, dispel the cold, aid digestion, sober up and quench thirst. The hangover medicine that I concocted myself is definitely 100 times stronger than those sold on the market. Okay, little brother pigeon. You have this ability, Chong said. Then I'll buy it immediately. In fact, Suyin didn't have a hangover. He just drank a little too much and slept a little late. In the morning, he didn't have much energy and couldn't open his eyes. In addition, he had thoughts in his mind and was upset, which led to the feeling that he was drunk. After taking the dark pharmacology that Chong brewed, Suyin really sobered up a lot. It wasn't the hangover effect that woke him up, but the taste of these Chinese medicines that had hangover effects mixed together was really hard to swallow. Even if he was still sleeping soundly, he couldn't stay calm when he tasted this taste in his mouth. It was naturally a good thing that Suyin could wake up. Gu Chia, who had been blaming herself for this, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Are you planning to poison me to death while I'm sleeping? Suyin retched and said. Pigeon, what did you give me to drink? Is it Hedinghong mixed with dichlorvos? Brother, this is the hangover medicine that I developed for you with 8 Chinese herbal medicines. Sephora flavescens, chrysanthemum, white lentil, nutmeg, citrus aurantium, kudzu flower, grassfruit and galangal, Lin Ge said. I put a lot of effort into this. You should at least give me some encouragement, right? Suyin retched even more when he heard it. F***ck, how can these messy things be mixed together? You didn't see if there was any conflict between the medicinal properties. You taste it yourself. You're drinking to death without paying for it. Good intentions are treated as bad intentions. Lin Ge took it unwillingly. Fine, I'll drink it. I didn't even bear to taste it myself after I brewed it. As soon as the medicine entered his mouth, Lin Ge couldn't speak anymore. He directly rushed into the bathroom with the bowl. Now, everyone understood that it wasn't that Lin Ji's medicine was good, but that the taste was too awesome. Not to mention intoxicating. Even a dead person could be drunk back to life. But no matter what, he finally woke up. That was better than anything else. Lin Ge still couldn't go unnoticed. What are you all doing in my room? Suyin thought for a while, and felt that something was wrong. Wasn't I drinking at the bar last night? How did I come here? You still know that you drank. How much did you drink? Yi Fala stared at Suyin. If it wasn't for your phone ringing, and we couldn't wake you up, we wouldn't have done this. Quick, take a look at your phone. There are nearly 20 missed calls. Because they are all strange internal numbers, we know that they must be related to confidential matters, so no one dared to call. When Suyin heard this, he immediately perked up. He took his phone and looked. There were indeed a bunch of missed calls. There were the numbers of the Dragon Brigade headquarters, the Dragon Fury team, Wang Yi and Wan Guangxiao. There must be something going on. Otherwise, why would there be so many calls? Seeing Suyin frown, everyone began to understand that something must have happened. They all used the excuse that they had something to do and left. They knew that Suyin needed private space to deal with his matters. Lin Ge also finished retching in the bathroom. When he came out and saw that everyone had left, he understood what was going on. He didn't ask anything and directly went to guard the door. Chapter 1094. Wan Guangxiao picked up Suyun's call and roared like a lion. I thought you were dead. The entire brigade called you more than 20 times. Have you been away from the brigade for too long? Do you have to stuff donkey tail hair into your ears when you sleep at night? You can't even hear your phone ringing early in the morning. Suyin heaved a sigh of relief. It didn't matter if he was scolded, as long as it didn't delay things. Chief, I drank some wine last night, so I slept rather soundly. Suyin smiled and said, if you have any missions, just tell me directly. I promise I won't delay them. If there were any urgent missions, you would have been delayed. You would have been given a huge demerit. A huge punishment. Wang Guangxiao said. I don't have any missions. I just have something to ask you. Where are you? Get over here right now. What punishment? Demerit? Suyin didn't care about these things at all. He had even been expelled before. Why would he care about these things? For example, if a student had been expelled by the school before, who would be afraid of being punished or given a demerit by the teacher? Those were trivial matters, so it didn't matter. Chief, I'm in Xinjiang. Suyin. It might take some time to get there. In Xinjiang. Wang Guangxiao was shocked. Then he took a deep breath and said, Kid, I'm asking you a question. You better tell me the truth. Of course. Suyin. Chief, how would I dare to lie when you ask me a question? Wang Guangxiao's voice was very serious. Is the sinking of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces destroyer Wanyao related to you? Suyin was stunned. This question was too sudden. Tell me the truth. Wang Guangxiao frowned. Suyin finally decided to tell the truth. It's related to me. Kid, you're really daring. You dare to do anything. Wang Guangxiao said. Do you know that you might start a war? You're a soldier from Huaxia. You know how cruel war is. You also know how shameless the Japanese are. If word of this gets out, it will give the Japanese terrorists a reason to start a war. Suyin suppressed the anger in his heart. If you want to pick, so be it. Who's afraid of who? The older generation of revolutionary martyrs were able to drive those King Japanese out of the divine mainland with a rifle. Now that they were well equipped with weapons and equipment, they could get whatever they wanted. The citizens of the country paid so much tax every year for the country to support them as soldiers. Any hot-blooded soldier would be angry at this time. Chief, if the Japanese dare to pick a fight with us, we'll go and destroy them. Suyin said angrily. Huaxia does not engage in aggression. This is a matter of principle. Wang Guangxiao said. Invasion is a violation of human rights and an insult to world peace. Do you know the burden on the shoulders of a permanent member of the United Nations? Young man, don't be so rude. Suyin was unhappy. They provoked us first. We've already tolerated them a lot. War is irresponsible to the country and the people. Wang Guangxiao said, I know you young people are angry because you're not sitting in the position of the leader of the country. If you're in this position, you'll understand how difficult it is. Don't think of things as simple. A country with a population of 1.4 billion is not as easy to develop as you think. Chief, then why did you call me? Are the Japanese here? Suyin asked. You should know that 2 days ago was August 15th, the 69th anniversary of Japan's defeat in World War II. Members of the Japanese cabinet and the chairman of the National Public Security Committee, who is also responsible for the kidnapping issue, went to Yasukuni Shrine to pay their respects. Then, members of the Japanese cabinet and the Minister of General Affairs went to Yasukuni Shrine to pay their respects. Then, members of the Japanese cabinet and former Prime Minister Koinu Toichiro's second son, Koinu Jinjiro, also went to Yasukuni Shrine to pay their respects. Wang Guangxiao said. And Japanese Prime Minister Abe paid the sacrifice fee to Yasukuni Shrine through his agent. He didn't go to Yasukuni Shrine that day. Suyin frowned. What does that old dog in pay mean? Does he think that if he doesn't pay his respects, he has nothing to do with it? They couldn't even burn paper money along with the donations. Why should those bastard war criminals still have money to live freely in hell? Chief, you're not going to tell me that Impei is giving in by not paying his respects, are you? Impei's public support is dropping rapidly. He doesn't dare to do anything radical anymore. Wang Guangxiao said. But this time, the sinking of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force destroyer Wanyao is an opportunity for him. If he finds evidence and can slander the Huaxia military, then he'll have a reason to win back the public's support. Suyin was stunned. That was right. It did make sense. He couldn't give Impei a chance to turn things around now. He had blown up the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force destroyer. Although he had vented his anger, if Impei found evidence, then it would be unreasonable. No matter what, Su Yin was carrying the identity of a Huaxia soldier. When I heard the news, I couldn't sleep the whole night. I'm a soldier. I know very well that a destroyer can't be sunk for no reason, Wang Guangxiao said. I thought about it and was afraid that this had something to do with you. I didn't expect it to really have something to do with you. Chief, if you really can't do it, you can fire me, Su Yin said. If you fire me, I won't be a member of the Dragon Brigade anymore. Wang Guangxiao said angrily. What nonsense are you saying? What kind of place do you think the Dragon Brigade is? You can come and go as you please. A few days ago, the Japanese provoked our South China Sea Air Defense Identification Zone many times. Blowing up one of their ships can be considered teaching them a lesson, as long as we don't leave any evidence behind. Don't worry, there's no evidence. Su Yin said. I used an American-made Javelin missile to destroy the Japanese destroyer's fuel tank. Huaxia doesn't have this missile. Even if it's investigated thoroughly, it has nothing to do with us. Kid, when did you get your hands on firearms? Wang Guangxiao frowned. You better remember your identity at all times. Don't do anything that goes against the rules. Su Yin grinned. Chief, if I didn't do illegal things like illegal immigration, how could I have brought Kevin Matthew back? What do you think? You can't say that as long as it benefits the country, it's okay to break the law. But if it doesn't benefit the country, it can't be done, right? You should believe me. I have principles in everything I do. Regardless of whether my methods are legal or not, I definitely don't have any bad intentions. Wang Guangxiao was at a loss for words. You kid. Matthew and I smuggled back to our country through an arms dealer's ship. Su Yin said. I definitely won't mess around with firearms. Don't worry. You can be at ease about this. Even if the Japanese look for evidence, they won't be able to find any evidence that our Huaxia army violated them. The high seas where his ship sank is only about 100 nautical miles away from their territorial waters. It's 300 nautical miles away from us. Let them investigate as they wish. In any case, Wang Dahu was still at sea. Wang Dahu had even taken down a Su Dalong as a shield. He wouldn't let the Japanese harass him at all. I'm much more at ease now that you say that, Wang Guangxiao said. Just stop for a while and don't cause any more trouble. Chapter 1095. After Wang Guangxiao took Kevin Matthew away, he had always been treated as a VIP. Although Kevin Matthew tried to make a move on Chu Zigua, he was stopped after all. Most importantly, Kevin Matthew was not a despicable person by nature. His father's revenge was a grievance that had been suppressed in his heart for many years. People needed to understand to open up and guide. During this period of time, Wang Guangxiao had been enlightening and guiding Kevin Matthew, trying to get him to walk out of his resentment and anger. As long as he could walk out of this, then everything would not be a problem. Wang Guangxiao knew very well how rare this kind of talent was. He remembered every little bit of Huaxia's military development over the past few decades. If he could get a genius like Kevin Matthew early, Huaxia's position as a military power would directly rise to a level of qualitative change. During this period of time, Wang Guangxiao would always take time to reason with Kevin Matthew. He told Kevin Matthew that Huaxia was a military power. No one could deny this. The International Disarmament Organization had an evaluation of the military strength of each country. Huaxia's comprehensive war strength was definitely not weak. A country's comprehensive war strength included many aspects, such as military strength, national defense mobilization ability, war potential, and so on. Comprehensive war strength represented a country's war ability. He also told Kevin Matthew, many people who thought that Huaxia was not a powerful country always felt that Huaxia's military strength was bragging, but Huaxia had enough evidence to prove its strength. In the first year of Huaxia's founding, it had beaten the United Nations army of 16 countries, led by the United States, from the Yalu River to the 38th parallel, and made them not dare to cross the minefield for more than 60 years. India, who had always thought that its military was very strong, should remember the self-defense war at the border of Huaxia. At the beginning of the war, the famous American military general, five-star General MacArthur, said, The people who fight Huaxia's army are crazy. In the 1-month self-defense war, Huaxia had achieved overwhelming victory in the 2 battles, and some local battles at the eastern and western borders. In total, they had annihilated more than 8,900 invading Indian troops. Although there were casualties, no soldiers were captured. During the Vietnam War, Huaxia said, "The American infantry is not allowed to cross the 17th parallel." The American infantry did not dare to cross the 17th parallel in the entire Vietnam War. This was the strength and prestige of a military power. Of course, Wang Guangxiao had to admit that the United States was the most powerful country in terms of military power. The Jane's military strength was the world first in terms of military technology and military expenditure. And the current military power was now developing its military strength in outer space, and was gradually approaching 0 casualties. This was something that any country could not help but accept. France had an advanced and perfect military-industrial system. Its independent weapon development ability was the strongest in Europe, and it was definitely a top military power. Russia had inherited 70% of the former Soviet Union's military power. It had a strong heavy industrial foundation, and developed military technology. This former superpower had super strong independent weapon development ability. Its self-developed SS-27 Topol nuclear intercontinental missile could perform an S-shaped maneuver when it entered the atmosphere. This made the American national missile defense system helpless. Wang Guangxiao said this to let Kevin Matthew know that this was why the United States wanted him so much. To be able to develop an S-shaped nuclear intercontinental missile defense system. Only a super genius like Kevin Matthew could do it. After the Gulf War in the 1990s, Huaxia's decision-makers saw the gap between Huaxia's military and the rest of the world. They gradually increased military investment and introduced a lot of advanced military technology. Now they had achieved great results. Huaxia's space technology and missile technology led Europe. The military stepped up its information technology and had a certain level of strength in nuclear missile technology. However, they had to admit that Huaxia's basic industry was weak. The processing technology still needed to be improved. These weaknesses directly affected the quality of Huaxia's weapons. This was also what Wang Guangxiao wanted to express to Kevin Matthew. This was the reason why Huaxia needed him. After a period of contact, Kevin Matthew was also much more familiar with Wang Guangxiao. He talked a lot with Wang Guangxiao about his views on world military theory. Matthew said that in terms of nuclear weapons, Huaxia was ranked in the top 5 in the world. In terms of submarines, Huaxia was ranked in the top 2 in the world. In terms of surface ships, Huaxia could also be ranked in the top 8 in the world. In terms of combat aircraft, Huaxia was definitely ranked in the top 4 in the world. In terms of tanks, armored vehicles and light weapons, Huaxia was undoubtedly the world's number 1. Kevin Matthew also shared some of his own views. He felt that in terms of land forces alone, Huaxia was ranked higher than Russia and America, while its air force was behind Russia and America. As for Huaxia's naval power, it was a little weak. It could be said that it was behind Japan, India and France. Wang Guangxiao agreed with Kevin Matthews' views. Why did the Japanese dare to make a fuss at sea? Why did the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force act so tyrannically on the high seas between the two countries? It was because Huaxia's naval power was not strong enough. That was why they dared to act so recklessly. If Huaxia's naval power was the same as on land, not to mention the Japanese, even the United States would not dare to cross the 17th parallel, just like during the Vietnam War. It was because of this that Huaxia needed a military genius like Kevin Matthew to help Huaxia develop its naval power, allowing Huaxia's military comprehensive combat ability to rise to another level. It would make the Japanese's troublemaking be ************************************************************** Starts not dare to act rashly. Kevin Matthew was already tempted by Wang Guangxiao's persuasion. After all, this was his motherland. After all, the Dragon Brigade was where his father had once served. After all, his father was also a proud Huaxia soldier. Although he was not able to give him any proof of identity until his death, and even his body was thrown away somewhere, no one could deny that he was the pride of Huaxia's soldiers. Wan Guangxiao had said to Kevin Matthew in a profound tone. Matthew's surname is Ma. The blood flowing in your veins is the blood of the descendants of Yan Huang, the successor of the dragon. That's right, he preferred to be called Matthew. Even if it's for your father's sake, you should stay in your own country. Do your best for your country. Wan Guangxiao was very direct. The country needs you, for the sake of all the people of Huaxia. So it needs you. Will you sacrifice for Huaxia, for the descendants of Huaxia, who have the same blood as you? It's all your own wish. Matthew said that he needed to be alone to think and calm down. His heart was in a mess now. Wan Guangxiao knew that he had said enough. Matthew was also clearly aware of his position. Therefore, he did not put him under any house arrest, nor did he lock him up. He could do whatever he wanted. Wan Guangxiao just reminded him that the Americans were quite angry about his departure. For his safety, they arranged for 2 people to protect him. These 2 people were not outsiders. Tianfeng and Hua Xiaolu were Su Yun's little brothers. Wan Guangxiao felt that they were more suitable to take care of Matthew. Now was the time. The person who could make Matthew finally make a decision was not himself, and probably not Wan Guangxiao. At this time, Su Yun's words might be particularly important. Before hanging up the phone, Wan Guangxiao said to Su Yun, "If there is nothing to deal with in Xinjiang, then take the time to go back to Yanjing to see Matthew. I believe that what he needs most now is your opinion." Chapter 1096. Whether it was Gu Qia or Kevin Matthew, Su Yun could not ignore their affairs. They were all closely related to him. Matthew had left the Americans without permission this time, which had caused the entire circle to be in trouble, and he probably did not know about it yet. In this way, Su Yun felt that it was even more necessary for him to talk to Matthew in person. At least, he should let him know how angry the Americans were about him leaving. This way, Matthew could realize his own importance, what he meant to Huaxia, and why the Americans were so unwilling to let him go. Matthew needed to think about it himself. Some things seemed unnecessary, but in fact they were not. After hanging up the call with Wan Guangxiao, Su Yun had the urge to smoke again, but Lin Go opened the door and interrupted him. "Brother, if you need to go back to Yanjing, don't worry. I'll take care of things here. Don't worry about Sister Gu, leave it to me. I need to go back to Yanjing, and Gu Qia will go with me." Su Yun. "I'm not worried about Xinjiang. Yizi knows this place like the back of her hand, and Chang and the others are already familiar with this place. The hotel will not encounter any major problems. But I'm worried about Guqin Island." Su Yun was not the only one worried about Guqin Island. Lin Gu was also worried about it. After all, Fangya was with Sister Frost and Guagua on Guqin Island. Su Yun smiled. "Pigeon, you don't have to worry about Yanjing. I can handle it myself. Go to Guqin Island for me. With you there, I'll be less worried." "Brother, you're not deliberately saying this because Fangya is on Guqin Island, right?" Lin Gu was a little confused. "Of course not, Su Yun. But then again, you really should go to Guqin Island to accompany Fangya. After all, she's only been with you for a short period of time, and you're already so busy that you can't even see her." Pausing for a moment, Su Yun sighed. "Of course, this is also my fault. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have to be so busy with your relationship. How can it still be like this? You can't even hang out with me all day long." "Brother, I won't be happy if you say that," Lin Ge said. "Didn't I come here to help you? There was no need to say much between brothers. No one would trouble anyone, and no one would owe anyone anything. If he was so calculative all the time, he wouldn't be a brother anymore." However, Su Yun was very clear in his heart. "Then you should get ready to go to Qingdao today. The high-speed rail is also convenient, and the train will start by water. I'll ask Chang to send you to the station. Give Fangyo a call and ask her to tell Sister Shuang to arrange for someone to pick you up," Su Yun said. "When you see Fangya, apologize to her on my behalf for borrowing her boyfriend for so many days. I'm really sorry." "Haha, I'll definitely pass on your words," Lin Ge laughed and said. Fangya's mid-year holiday was only a dozen days, and he should indeed accompany her for a few more days. Since Brother Yun had the good intention to help him, he wouldn't be polite. He believed that Brother Yun would definitely be able to handle the matters in Yanjing, and he wouldn't be able to help even if he went. Chang sent Lin Gu away, and Su Yun also explained to Gu Chia about Kevin Matthew. Gu Chia was quite shocked. It turned out that Kevin Matthew, a super genius in the field of military weapons, actually had such an identity and background. His father was actually a secret agent, and the purpose of Kevin Matthew returning to Huaxia was actually to take revenge, and to do such a dangerous thing. I know, you must still hate me and Matthew in your heart, but I really need you to go with me. Su Yun. Also, I believe that Matthew still has some connections in the United States, and maybe he can help us. Gu Chia's father was still missing, and this matter indeed needed someone with connections in the United States to do it. I know your good intentions, Gu Chia said to Su Yun. If there's anything I can help with, I'll do my best. Also, the Americans are so arrogant, and I also hope that our own country can be stronger, so that the Chinese can hold their heads up higher outside. No one will look down on us Chinese abroad, and no one will dare to bully us Chinese abroad. Looking at the history of overseas Chinese, it was always closely related to 4 words: diligence and humiliation. The image of overseas Chinese being hardworking was admired and praised in any country. However, the word hardworking was accompanied by humiliation. As early as the end of the Qing dynasty and the beginning of the Republic, Huaxia people went out of the country, and humiliation became a common occurrence. Huaxia people were simply synonymous with weakness overseas. In 1848, a large number of people from Guangshan rushed to the gold mines in California in the United States, and lived an inhuman life there like pigs. After that, a series of anti-Chinese waves pushed the Chinese workers to the bottom of the abyss. On the streets of the United States, white people saw that the Chinese could be bullied at will. They grabbed the Chinese workers' braids and kowtowed, attracting onlookers and cheers. The Chinese workers were arbitrarily killed, and countless people died tragically in foreign lands. They could not return to their homes, because according to the laws of the Qing dynasty, they would be beheaded if they returned home. It was from then on that the overseas Chinese put on the hat of inferiority. This kind of hat was easy to wear, but not easy to take off. After so many years since the end of the war and the establishment of the new Huaxia, especially after the reform and opening up, international first-tier metropolises such as Yanjing, Xinjiang, and Guangshan, as well as international students from all over the country, went out of the country and scattered around the world like dandelions. Where there are people, there are Chinese. This sentence was not an exaggeration. They still relied on hard work, but it was still difficult for them to escape the humiliation of their predecessors. Their lives were richer than in the early days, and their status in their home countries had improved, but many times, they were still bullied. When the Chinese interacted with the mainstream society, they should appropriately reduce and hide some of the influence of Huaxia's Confucian culture, especially when it came to disputes of interests. The Huaxia people believed in the principle of tolerance and keeping the peace. When robbed, attacked, and even if their lives were in danger, they often did not say a word and endured. In Western countries, this was equivalent to willingly giving up their civil rights, and it was not worth the loss. This was a cultural influence that could not be changed. Therefore, if they wanted the Huaxia people to be respected overseas, they needed their home country to be richer and stronger than it was now. They needed to let the whole world know the strength of the Huaxia and the power of the Huaxia. Only in this way could the Huaxia people be less bullied. More importantly, when a person's home country was strong, they would have the confidence to stand in front of people from other countries. This principle was the same, just like how a rich and handsome man from a good family would have the confidence to stand in front of a poor child from an ordinary family. As a Chinese who lived overseas all year round, Gu Chia understood this principle very early on. Now an opportunity was in front of her. Kevin Matthew could give Huaxia a qualitative improvement in the military strength, which was equivalent to raising the strength and influence of the country by a level. Gu Chia would definitely do her best for such a matter. This was not only related to the immediate interests of the people of Huaxia, but also the immediate interests of all the Chinese overseas. As long as the blood of the Chinese flowed in their blood, they would benefit. This matter was considered small because she wanted to give face to Su Yun, and go with him to Yanjing to meet the person who had caused them so much suffering. This matter was considered big because it was for the benefit of the Chinese in the future. Think about it. If Huaxia's military strength was far higher than that of the United States, would the Americans still dare to go to Vancouver to find trouble with the Chinese organizations? Of course not. Chapter 1097. As long as Gu Qia didn't have any objections, Suyin didn't have any psychological pressure. After packing his things, he said goodbye to Yi Fala and the others and drove straight to Yanjing. Along the way, Gu Qia's face would still show a faintly discernible expression of worry. Her worry was something that no one else could understand. Rather than Suyin urgently wanting to see Matthew, Gu Qia was even more anxious. She hoped that Matthew had friends in America who could help her find out about her father. It was already late when they returned to Yanjing. Due to Gu Qia's identity, Suyin couldn't bring her to the Dragon Brigade. Thus, he booked a room in a hotel near the Dragon Brigade headquarters. After settling Gu Qia down, Suyin rushed to the Dragon Brigade headquarters. Everyone now knew that Suyin had returned, so they wouldn't be surprised to see Suyin again. Suyin stopped the car and went straight to Wang Yi's place. Wan Guangxiao must have returned home by now. Suyin didn't want to disturb him, so he went to find Wang Yi. "You rascal, can't you let me know before you come back? Make some noise so that I can be prepared." Wang Yi said, "What's wrong? Why did you come back so suddenly? If we didn't call you, you wouldn't have told me, right?" "Master, I talked to the chief on the phone this morning. You must know about what happened to me these few days." Suyin, "I will report to you immediately if anything happens in the future." "You kid. Sai, you dare to cause any big trouble?" Wang Yi said helplessly. "Just keep this to yourself. Don't tell anyone." Suyin nodded. Of course, he knew this simple logic. "Why did you come back in such a hurry?" Wang Yi asked. "I think I need to communicate with Matthew to see if he can be used by the country," Suyin said. After hearing this, Wang Yi patted Suyin's shoulder hard. "Why didn't you think of this earlier? I always thought that you wouldn't be able to change your mind. Helping the country to convince him is your responsibility as a soldier of Huaxia. Besides, you're doing this for the good of your friend." Although his father was betrayed by Chu Zigua, the real culprit behind his father's betrayal was definitely an American agent. If he betrayed his American citizenship and worked for the Americans, that would be treacherous. Yes, Suyin nodded. He had considered all of what Wang Yi had said. "Try to reason with him. You know one leader. He won't force Matthew to choose." Wang Yi said, "But you are his friend. For his own good, you should insist that he make the right choice. That's for his own good." "I understand," Suyin said. "Then where is Matthew now?" Wang Yi pointed in the southeast direction. "He's in the hotel near us." "What's it called?" "Taiwan Hotel." Suyin was stunned. He had arranged for Gu Qia to stay in a hotel near Dragon Brigade. Yes. Wang Yi nodded. "That's the place. Our chief said that we can't put him under house arrest or imprison him. We have to convince him with virtue. We have to try our best to make him make a voluntary choice without any coercion. The choice he makes represents the choice he wants to make the most in his heart. That way, he will choose to serve the country wholeheartedly." Suyin naturally understood. This logic couldn't be more simple. "Okay, I'll talk to him. Qianfeng and Hua Xiaolu are there too. They're not looking after him. They're protecting him just in case." Wang Yi said, "Room 718. You can go there directly." Suyin thought about it. He had arranged for Gu Qia to stay on the 6th floor. It was too convenient. After bidding farewell to Wang Yi, Suyin directly returned to Taiwan Hotel. He sensed carefully and indeed felt two hidden powerful auras. Obviously, these two auras belonged to Qianfeng and Hua Xiaolu. These two brats aren't simple. If I didn't check carefully, I wouldn't have been able to sense your auras. Suyin muttered to himself. His brother's strength was improving. The stronger they were, the better they could hide their auras. After parking the car, Suyin directly took the elevator to the 7th floor of the hotel. As soon as the elevator door opened, Suyin deliberately released his aura. The next second, he heard the door open. Tianfeng and Hua Xiaolu directly walked out of the room. Seeing that it was actually Su Yun standing in the corridor, the two of them were surprised. "Boss, why are you here?" Tianfeng was at a loss. "How did you know we were here?" Su Yun also retracted his aura. "It's easy to know where you are. Brother, you're not here to make things difficult for us, right?" Hua Xiaolu said. "You know we're here, so you must know Matthew is here. You're not here to save him, are you? Are you stupid? Is our boss that kind of person?" Tianfeng glared at Hua Xiaolu, then looked at Su Yun with an aggrieved expression. "Brother, you're not serious, are you? That would put us brothers in a difficult position. You brought us up single-handedly, so we definitely wouldn't dare to do anything to you. But this is a mission given to us by the chief. If we get lost, we'll have to return with our heads in our hands." Su Yun smiled helplessly. "I say, what are you thinking in your heads? It's not too much to say that you two are good-for-nothings." Tianfeng smiled. Yes, it doesn't matter if we're good-for-nothings. As long as boss doesn't make things difficult for us, I don't care about anything. Really? Boss, you really scared me." Hua Xiaolu patted his chest. "Master told me to come here. Su Yun. The chief called me this morning and approved me to come and see him." "Then let's go in." Tianfeng pointed at Matthew's room. "The chief said to give him enough personal space to let him have enough time to think. If he decides to leave, we won't stop him. But before he makes a decision, the chief told us to stand guard." Su Yun smiled. "I came this time to let him make a decision as soon as possible." As they spoke, Su Yun had already pushed open the door to Matthew's room. He deliberately spoke for Matthew to hear. "It's not a good idea to keep dragging it out like this. Things have to be resolved sooner or later, right?" Hearing Su Yun's voice, Matthew turned his head. His face was full of shame and apology. No one could understand his guilt towards Su Yun. "Matthew, how have you been recently? Have you gotten used to living in Huaxia?" Su Yun was fine. Matthew let out a long sigh of relief. "Brother Yin, I'm sorry. If you still call me Brother Yin, then there's nothing to be sorry about." "Su Yun, I came here today for only one purpose. I want to ask you what you mean. There are some things that don't make sense to think about for too long. I'll take you to see someone. I believe you can make a decision soon. No matter what your decision is, I will still treat you as a brother." Chapter 1098. When Matthew saw Guqia, he was very surprised. He couldn't believe that the future leader of the circle had the time to visit Huaxia. "Do you know why she's here?" Su Yun asked calmly. Matthew shook his head. He didn't know what to do, but his sixth sense told him that Guqia didn't come to Huaxia for a casual visit. It wasn't hard to tell. Her face was full of sadness and anger. When she met his eyes, there was even a trace of resentment and helplessness. "Misku, Matthew's brows were knitted together. He tried to ask, but found that he didn't know what to say. Guqia really wanted to explode, but she knew that resentment and anger couldn't solve the problem. Before this, she seemed to have a lot of things that she wanted to say to Matthew and let him experience the pain that she was feeling now. But at this moment, she was at a loss for words. "Matthew." Su Yun saw that Guqia didn't want to speak, so he took the initiative to break the ice. "Do you know how much trouble Chia caused this time to help us get back to Huaxia? Could it be?" Matthew realized the seriousness of the matter. He didn't need Su Yun to say more. He knew that he had implicated Guqia and the circle. The Americans' methods were not simple. Their investigation skills were definitely the best in the world. It wasn't difficult to find out that it was the circle's ship that took him out to sea. Guqia's burden was finally lifted. She met Matthew's gaze and said seriously, "The circle is all ready, in name only. My father, brother, and the elders of the circle, the hall masters, the people in charge of the various industries, everyone has lost contact." Hiss. Matthew sucked in a cold breath. Weren't the Americans too ruthless this time? They didn't care about the circle's feelings. And the Americans didn't just attack Vancouver and Toronto. They also attacked at sea. Guqia said, My ship was attacked crazily by the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force when it was dozens of nautical miles away from Japan's territorial waters. I don't care if my ship sinks, but I care about the mercenary group that has been in the arms business with me for so many years. Everyone in the mercenary group doesn't have it easy. If it wasn't to give their families a better life, they wouldn't have risked their lives like this. Guchiya furrowed her brows in pain. I know that there are too many things in this world that we can't control with our own strength. But I've always hoped that the brothers of their mercenary group could follow me on my ship. No matter how big of a trouble they encounter, they would be able to return with their lives. My request is very simple. I don't ask for peace or fortune. I just hope that it won't be like this. They're all very skilled and can fight against 10 strong warriors. But when faced with the Japanese's heavy firepower, I'm afraid they won't even be able to leave a complete corpse. Guchiya didn't need to say much. The tragic scene was presented in front of Su Yin and Matthew. When the difference in military strength was huge, it was inevitable that the weaker side would become a living hell. Although the large circle's arms merchant ships sold arms, the difference in equipment between them and the Japanese warships was too big. The Japanese warships had all the weapons that Guchiya's ship had. The Japanese warships also had the weapons that Guchiya's ship didn't have. Not only did the enemy have many times more soldiers than them on each warship, but they also had people flying in the sky and diving underwater. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force had the upper hand. With such a huge difference in strength, how could Guchiya and the rest fight? Other than fighting like a suicide squad, there was no other way to attack the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. With Guchiya's looks and figure, she could be considered an outstanding beauty. Her smile could topple cities. If she fell into the hands of the shameless Japanese soldiers, the consequences would be unimaginable. The mercenaries risked their lives to open a way for Guchiya to escape the encirclement. When Matthew found out that the mercenaries had been completely wiped out, the pain in his heart was so intense and so obvious. He hated how his actions had implicated so many innocent people. Although those mercenaries were usually rough and irascible, there wasn't a single one of them who wasn't a man of steel. And the culprit who caused all of them to be buried at the bottom of the sea in the stomach of the fish was him, Kevin Matthew. It was because of the unquenchable flames of revenge in his heart that led to today's tragedy. If it wasn't for him, everything would be as peaceful as before. No one would have died an unnatural death. Miss Gu, I'm sorry. Matthew's apology was sincere, but no matter how sincere it was, it couldn't be exchanged for so many lives. In Matthew's heart, he felt that this apology was so trivial, so pathetic and ridiculous. If an apology is meaningful and can let everything go back to how it was before, I'll accept your apology. I will definitely accept your apology without any hesitation. Guchiya said, but it's a pity that an apology doesn't have any meaning. Isn't it? Yes. Matthew lowered his head. Guchiya said slowly, I'm not here to blame you. No one can foresee the future. If you knew the consequences would be like this, even if you wanted to go out to sea with my ship, Su Yin wouldn't have agreed. This was definitely the decision that Su Yin had regretted the most in the past year. I'm here because I hope you can help me, Guchiya said. Guchiya said, the Americans are willing to do anything for this matter. They can even collude with the Japanese military. Old Master Gu and the main backbone of the Great Circle can't be contacted. Matthew said to himself, the Americans must have taken them away. It must be. The Americans must think that the Great Circle and I planned this together. I'll think of a way. I'll think of a way. After anxiously pacing back and forth a few times, Matthew said to Su Yin with certainty, I know what to do. That's it. I'll contact a friend of mine in the United States right now. I'll ask him to tell the CIA agents to release them, and I'll go back to the United States with them. Then we'll be fine. Using himself in exchange was the best solution that Kevin Matthew could think of. However, he didn't think that Su Yin and the others really didn't want him to leave Huaxia. If he fell into the hands of the Americans this time, and they knew that he had been to Huaxia, they would definitely force him to contribute to the research of the American military. If he didn't agree, he wouldn't have been treated the way he was before. If the American military couldn't get a treasure, They would rather destroy it than let Huaxia have it. They were the ones who promoted the threat of Huaxia. They were the ones who were afraid that Huaxia's military was stronger. Therefore, they would definitely do something like this. You only have two choices when you go back. The first is to die. The second is to be used by the Americans. Su Yun said. If you hadn't been to Huaxia, the Americans might have treated you like a rare treasure. However, once you come into contact with Huaxia, the Americans will feel that your existence is a threat to them. You won't have an easy life. I know. Matthew nodded. But what else can I do? I can't let Mr. Gu and the others suffer in the United States because of me. The CIA agents are really... Thinking that Gu Qia was still there, Matthew swallowed the words he was about to say. Gu Qia suddenly said, No, you can't do that. If the Americans know that you went back because of my dad, they will definitely use my dad to threaten you to continue doing things that you don't want to do. Then you won't have a choice. If you don't do it, you and my dad will both die. If you do it, it means that you will make the Americans stronger and let them do more hegemonic things in the world. You need to stay in Huaxia and work hard for Huaxia's strength. Only then will the Americans not dare to casually bully us Chinese. Chapter 1099. For Matthew, the dilemma of whether or not to stay in Huaxia had tormented him so much that he couldn't sleep for many days. Today, Gu Qia's words seemed to have opened up his conception and governing vessels, allowing him to suddenly see the light. If the country was strong, the people would be strong. He actually couldn't comprehend such a simple principle. How lamentable. He, Matthew, had the ability to be used by the country and the people. Was there a need to struggle? He was the son of the legendary Dark Dragon of the Dragon Brigade. His father had worked hard for the country all his life without complaint. Even if he died in a foreign land without a corpse, he still told Matthew in a letter written many years ago that if he died or went missing, it was his own choice. He chose to serve the country, so he had to take responsibility. No matter what his end was, whether it was a tragic death or honor, he would feel honored for his profession. The country's mission was honorable. Since Matthew had a nameless hero who died in a foreign land with a glorious mission as his father, it was only right for him to continue his father's work for the country and benefit the people of China. When Tianxiang had once said, "Who doesn't die since ancient times?" His loyal heart shines in the annals of history. Fan Zhongyan said, "Worry about the worries of the world first, and enjoy the pleasures of the world later." In the book Serving the People, Grandpa Mao used a sentence to praise Comrade Zhang Side, who served the people wholeheartedly. Everyone has to die. It may be as heavy as Mount Tai, or as light as a feather. When Sima Qian wrote this sentence, he must have been extremely angry. He was willing to be humiliated in order to achieve his noble ideals. His tenacious fighting spirit was even more admirable. Matthew believed that this sentence could be used on his father as well. Everyone has to die. It may be as heavy as Mount Tai, or as light as a feather. My father used his life to explain to me what it means to be as heavy as Mount Tai. They all say that like father, like son. If I leave like a feather, I'm afraid I won't be able to face the ancestors of the Ma family in the underworld. Well said. Su Yun nodded in agreement. How many people could be as heavy as Mount Tai? In life, most people were ordinary people. Why were ordinary people so ordinary? It was because when faced with an opportunity to change and achieve great things, they would not want to seize it. Excessive pressure and responsibility would be unbearable for ordinary people. The decision Matthew made today was a decision that would change his life. Whether or not he could be like his father, whose death was heavier than Mount Tai, all depended on his decision now. Miss Gu, no matter what, I will try my best to help you find your father, Matthew said. But I really don't have the confidence to promise you that I can save your father. I understand. I will contact my friends in the United States immediately, Matthew said to Su Yin and Gu Qia. As long as there is news, I will inform you immediately. Don't worry. The American agents are very good at cleaning up traces and evidence. If I ask someone, it may take some time to find clues. Guqia nodded and said understandingly, I understand. This is not a problem that can be solved with one sentence. Matthew, I believe that you will do your best. I also hope that you believe that I did blame you for this matter, but now I forgive you. Suyin really did not expect that Guqia would take the initiative to help Matthew relieve the psychological pressure. She was indeed Miss Gu of the big circle. She was able to do such a long-distance arms business at such a young age. Her maturity was definitely more mature than her physical development. Miss Gu, thank you. Matthew did not say anything more. He walked to Suyun's side and gave Suyun a big hug. Suyun also patted Matthew's shoulder hard. Brothers sometimes needed to encourage each other. And this kind of encouragement could express the meaning deep in their hearts better than words. Some words could not be said. However, Matthew could feel that Suyun's pat on the shoulder was to let him let go of his inner guilt. It was to support his decision to stay in Huaxia. It was to affirm and comfort him. All these things were contained in a simple action. Suyun also felt that Matthew's hug was full of apology, gratitude, regret, and strong trust. Matthew believed that Suyun would definitely do what he said. As long as he found old Master Gu's whereabouts, Suyun would definitely do his best to rescue him and help old Master Gu and Guqia reunite. This was a sin that Matthew had committed. Suyun was a brother that he trusted. He believed that Suyun would definitely help him atone for his sins. Matthew was led back to the Dragon Brigade by Qianfeng and Hua Xiaolu. Guqia also quieted down again. Although everything had been arranged as a daughter, her self-blame and worry could not be shared by others. Suyun knew very well that what Guqia needed at this time was to be alone. Only by being alone could she calm down. Chapter 1100. If he could find old Master Gu's whereabouts, Suyun would definitely go to America without hesitation. But he couldn't bring Lin Gu with him this time. They had sunk the Japanese destroyer. Suyun needed Lin Gu to stay by Wan Qingshuang and Guogua's side as a safeguard. After all, there was only Chou Yun, and Suyun was still worried. If the Japanese hired an expert at a high price, Suyun would feel more at ease with Lin Gu around. If Lin Gu didn't go with him, Suyun really couldn't find a more suitable person. Only the group of brothers in the Dragon Brigade had a good rapport with him, and was capable enough to make him feel at ease. But he couldn't borrow people from the Dragon Brigade. After all, this had nothing to do with the organization. It was Suyun's personal grudge. This kind of thing couldn't involve the country's soldiers. Wang Guangxiao and Wang Yi definitely wouldn't allow their subordinates to take such risks. Even Suyun wouldn't have such a plan. His brothers were indeed brothers who had gone through fire and water together, but this kind of thing couldn't be done. Suyun had already violated discipline enough. He couldn't let his brothers continue to do so. People like him were already a headache to the Dragon Brigade, if there was only one person like him in 50 years. This was Wang Guangxiao's original words. As Suyun thought about it, he was bored to death, and was about to leave the hotel to buy a pack of cigarettes from the nearby supermarket. Just as he walked to the entrance of the hotel, two girls pointed at him and started gossiping. Isn't this the person that the news was talking about? The tall and thin girl with long hair said. Which one? The slightly plump girl next to her frowned and looked over. She exclaimed, it's really him. Suyun was a little confused. Did he look like a famous person? On the news? What news? Is it CCTV or a local station? Or is it a country channel? Suyun didn't have time to think about these things. He walked straight out of the hotel's main entrance. Coincidentally, an Audi A8 stopped at the entrance. A fat man with a big belly got out of the car. He had a fierce face and short hair. One look and you could tell that he was a boss. This kind of boss usually liked to be arrogant, so when the fatty first saw Suyun, he was expressionless. The feeling of being arrogant was quite strong, as if he was the biggest boss in Beijing. However, this feeling of arrogance only lasted for a second. In just a second, the expression on the fatty's face changed. He had become so amiable, so full of smiles. He moved his fat body with small steps, trying to make himself look as light as possible as he came to Suyun's side. Aren't you that Suyun boss Su? The fat man's face was full of smiles. Nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Uh-huh. Soo-yun was even more confused. This fatty actually said his name. Ha ha ha, Boss Soo looks taller than on TV. We know each other much better. Fatty, who was still full of smiles. Soo-yun was completely confused. That. Who, Boss Who, right? Yes, I'm Hu Jiufa. Fortune Real Estate Development Company, Ltd. is mine. Fatty, who introduced himself. Soo-yun nodded in response. And, hello, we, that know each other? Yes, oh no, I know you, Boss Soo. Boss Soo, you're such a big person. How could you know me? Hu Jiufa said. But I really admire Boss Soo. Boss Soo, if everyone in the world is as bold as you, then our Hwasia is really. I admire you, I only admire you. Soo-yun made two O sounds. Could it be that this brother recognized the wrong person? There was a boss who looked very similar to him, and was very rich. How could they have the same name and surname? This was the same logic as finding two identical leaves in the world. It was simply impossible. Boss Soo CCTV interviewed you, but they didn't ask you to stay for a meal. After all, your contribution to our Hwasia is too great. Hu Jiufa held his big belly with his hand. Alas, the country is now advocating economy and cracking down on extravagance and waste. Please don't mind that they didn't treat you well. Since I'm lucky enough to meet Boss Soo today, I'll be the host. I'll treat Boss Soo well on behalf of the country. Boss Soo, you must give me face. It's my honor. No, Boss Who, I still have something to do. I can't eat this meal. Soo-yun hurriedly refused. What the hell was going on? Hu Jiufa was disappointed as if he had lost 1,000,000 yuan. His face was full of annoyance. Boss Soo, I know that you must be very busy every day. Can't you spare 5 minutes to chat with me? Let me learn from you. Boss Who, you're the boss. I really don't have anything to teach you. I still have something to do. That's all. Soo-yun hurriedly left after saying that. What the hell was going on? After leaving the hotel quickly, Soo-yun realized that the two girls and the fat boss who were not the only ones who were sick. Many people on the street looked at him with surprise, pointed at him, or took the initiative to greet him. Everyone was absolutely full of respect and love for Soo-yun. This respect and love made it seem as if Soo-yun had done some great charity work. One had to know that Soo-yun had donated 500,000 yuan to the earthquake a few days ago. Even Lin Ge didn't know about it. Soo-yun had donated the money on the ICBC online bank before going to bed. These days, the foundation didn't dare to believe. Even if it was a celebrity, they still didn't feel at ease. The Ret Society was also detested by Guamimi, who was confirmed to be a prostitute. It was better to donate directly on the ICBC online bank. After entering his personal account center, he saw a charity donation item. He directly donated the money to the Sichuan Charity Association. When it came to donations, it didn't matter how much money was donated. It was just a gesture of love. If it wasn't enough, it wouldn't affect one's meals and basic living needs. Donating would be considered as accumulating good karma. If one couldn't even afford to eat, then don't donate. If one really had the heart to donate, even 2 yuan would be a heavy burden. However, there were many people in society who liked to do charity. Soo-yun wasn't the only one. Moreover, he wasn't as high profile as Brother Biao. Why did people look at him like that? You must be Uncle Soo-yun. Suddenly, a child with 5 stripes on his shoulders and a red scarf around his neck dashed in front of Soo-yun. Uncle, I thank you on behalf of the young pioneers in the country for everything you've done. Today, I was at home with my parents and watched the news broadcast. When your deeds were reported, I was completely shocked. My heart trembled. You're really great. Please allow me to represent the young pioneers in the country to say to you that we love you. What the heck? What are the children nowadays taught by their families and schools? At such a young age, they're already speaking in a bureaucratic tone. Brother, you've got the wrong person. Soo-yun. Moreover, I don't have anything in common with the young pioneers. I'm a party member. Uncle Soo, you're really a living lay phone. You've done such a great deed. The news is reporting about you, but you still refuse to admit it. The red scarf with 5 stripes said seriously. I will definitely study hard and strive to be a useful person like you in the future. I believe that as long as I persevere, I will definitely become a great person like you. What's so great about me? Suyin was sweating. Why does this child seem to know everything? Did he spread the news of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces ship exploding? My God. Why didn't the Marine Corps call him? Master didn't say anything either. How did he end up on the news? Did he really end up on the news? You've collected so many national treasures overseas and returned them to the country unconditionally. Isn't that great enough? Wu Daobar asked excitedly. Your actions have made all of us young pioneers see you and Uncle Lei as good role models. Don't you feel proud of that? My parents, my teachers, my friends, my classmates, and myself all regard you as an idol of our vitality. Don't you feel proud? Chapter 1101. After rolling his eyes, Suyin suddenly stopped in his tracks. Damn. Are you kidding me? Suyin was stunned for a long time. Collecting national treasures overseas? He doesn't have the time. Even if he does, he doesn't have the money to collect them. Unless he steals or snatches them. Suyin is not that kind of person. Even if this item belongs to Huaxia in the past, he will not be so unreasonable as to snatch it. Unless this item is in the hands of the Japanese. Wait a minute. Suyun's mind buzzed, and he finally realized something. Brother, what national treasures have I donated to the country? Didn't you see the news? What do you remember the most? Suyun leaned over and asked 5 bars number 5 earnestly. 5 bars seriously thought about it for a dozen minutes and said, Too much, too much. Too many things have left a deep impression on me. But if I were to write an essay about a national treasure that left a deep impression on me, I would definitely write about that golden jade garment. Because that is the most shocking thing I have ever seen in all my years of life. The ancient people of Huaxia are too smart. What has this got to do with being smart? It should be said that the ancient kings of Huaxia are too rich. They have money to burn. This kid nowadays dares to use any kind of words. As long as it can show that he is smarter than others, it will be fine. It was estimated that the children who were educated under this model would be able to write manuscripts for the leaders in the city. They would definitely be very bureaucratic. On this point, Suyin was still very confident in them. Golden jade garment. Suyin suspected that he was hallucinating. Damn, this kid actually said he donated the golden jade garment. If Suyin had it, he would definitely donate it to the country. But he wouldn't donate it in such a high-profile manner. But the problem was that he didn't donate it. Why did he appear on the news in such a high-profile manner? Zhuo Lingyue. She must be the one behind this. The Empress is indeed the Empress. What did she do? Suyin had to get to the bottom of this. What on earth had Zhuo Lingyue done? Suyin didn't have the time to go to the supermarket to buy cigarettes. With a face that was more famous than a celebrity, he really didn't know how to walk around the streets ostentatiously. Suyin quickly returned to the car and took out his phone to search for today's news. As soon as he opened the web page, he was dumbfounded. The mysterious rich young master's collection of antiques worth tens of billions would all be returned to the country unconditionally, promoting positive energy and setting an example for rich businessmen. These kinds of news reports were all good. Some editors were more despicable. They began to make up stories to attract attention. They said that this was not some mysterious rich young master, but the corrupt big tigers of the country. The big tigers used him to return something that did not belong to them to the country. He was not worthy of everyone's praise and so on. In any case, there were already 2 factions on the internet. One side was supportive, and the other side was cynical. In any case, both sides were in the right, and no one was willing to be outdone. These messy news reports didn't matter. However, Suyin saw a photo that was actually his face. It was exactly the same. Only after careful observation could one notice that the Suyin in the photo had narrower shoulders than the real Suyin. He was dressed more tastefully, and especially his fair wrist. No matter how one looked at it, it didn't look like a man's hand. Damn. Suyin carefully observed the eyes of the himself in the photo. Only then did he realize that it was definitely Bai Xiaoya. She definitely couldn't escape. Su Yan dared to bet 100 million yuan. You guys are really too much. Although Su Yan really hoped that Zuolingyue's collection of antiques and artworks could be returned to the country. These things were originally the country's public property. They belonged to the people of Huaxia and shouldn't belong to just one person. However, he didn't want Zuolingyue to have to drag him down when she returned these things to the country. They even made Bai Xiaoya put on makeup to look like him. Even her expression was so similar. It was simply too painstaking. This news was so big. What should he do? Wouldn't he be played to death in the next few days? In less than a night, those experts among the people would be able to dig him up. Be it the entertainment tycoon of Sky Entertainment Group, or the behind-the-scenes boss of Xingkai Hotel. All of these would probably be dug up. Of course, no matter how amazing the human investigation expert was, they wouldn't be able to find out his identity as Yin Long. This was something that Su Yan was very confident in. Bai Xiaoya, you and your master are playing too big. Su Yan didn't care about Gu Qia, who hadn't eaten upstairs. He guessed that she wasn't in the mood to eat. He directly started the car and rushed overnight to the secret Blue Star clubhouse at the junction of Yanjing and Tianjing. As the saying goes, the monk can run away, but the temple can't. Since you guys are playing this game, then you can't blame me. Su Yan had to get to the bottom of this. If they wanted to do good deeds without leaving their names behind and learn from Lei Feng's good example, as long as they made a request, the TV station would definitely respect them. However, they obviously didn't have this intention. Not only did they not say that they wanted to do good deeds without leaving their names behind, but they also purposely left their names behind. Su Yan had to find out what they were planning. When they arrived at the destination, Su Yan was stopped by two women as soon as he got out of the car. Su Yan didn't hold back. The pressure in his body exploded, forcing the two women to retreat. The powerful pressure naturally attracted the attention of others. Bai Xiaoya's speed wasn't slow, and she appeared very quickly. Su Yan? Why are you here? Bai Xiaoya was shocked. Su Yan heaved a sigh of relief. I should be the one asking this, right? Bai Xiaoya, why are you here? Don't think that I'm so stupid that I can't tell that you're the one who played me on TV. Bai Xiaoya laughed when she heard that. Is that so? Isn't it very similar? After Master put on makeup for me, even I was shocked. I really thought that I was you. Really? Haha. Is it funny? Su Yan frowned. Where's your master? I have something to ask her. Why did she do this? Su Yan, don't push your luck. Don't you want these things to be owned by the country so that everyone can have a chance to see these rare treasures? Bai Xiaoya said. My master asked me to give these things to you selflessly. She's giving you a lot of face. However, she doesn't want me to be in the limelight, so she can only let you do it. Su Yan was speechless. Then you should at least discuss it with me. Ask me if I'm willing to do it. Ask me if I have the idea of being a celebrity. I'm such a low-key person. If you play me like this, how can I go out in the future? If I don't do this, you really won't be able to go out. A voice drifted into everyone's ears. Except for Su Yan. Everyone's expression became serious. Obviously, Zuolingyue's words were very dignified every time. Xiaoya, since Su Yan is here, let him in. Zuolingyue's voice was cold but not cold, dignified but not strict. Su Yan couldn't tell if it was comfortable or uncomfortable. Su Yan didn't intend to be polite at all. Sister Yu, since I'm here, I'm going to ask you clearly. Don't think that you can easily send me away. Even if you don't come, I'll ask Xiaoya to invite you here so that you can talk to me. Zuolingyue said. If you can't tell me clearly, I won't let you go. Kid. Su Yan frowned. Why did Zuolingyue's words sound like he was walking into a trap? Let's go. My master asked you to go in. Bai Xiaoya said. Why won't I go in just because your master asked me to? Why won't she come out? Su Yan said resentfully. Although he said so, he didn't dare to do so. He still obediently followed Bai Xiaoya in. Originally, Su Yan was thinking about how he should interrogate Zuolingyue. Now he was guessing what questions Zuolingyue would ask him. It seemed that it was impossible to turn the tables. Su Yan pursed his lips. He didn't care so much now. No matter what, Zuolingyue shouldn't make things difficult for him. At least she was willing to give the golden jade dress to the country. This meant that she wasn't a bad person. Why did Wan Guangxiao say that they shouldn't provoke Zuolingyue? This woman wasn't on the same side as them. Chapter 1102. Su Yin was still mulling over these things when Zuolingyue suddenly appeared in front of him. Brat, how dare you? What do you mean? Su Yin was also calm. Sister, you gave me such an opportunity to show my face. Even if it's to express my gratitude, I have to pay you a visit. Yes, master, Su Yin doesn't have any ill intentions. Bai Xiaoye also stood on Su Yin's side and spoke up for him. This really surprised Su Yin. Seeing Bai Xiaoye's reaction, Zuolingyue was expressionless. She said to Su Yin again, I don't care if you are here to thank me or to question me. You have to answer a question of mine first. Please ask, Su Yin said. I will definitely tell you everything that Sister Yu wants to know. After all, the other party was the Empress. No matter how much affinity they had, she was also the publicly recognized #1 person in the underground world. It shouldn't be difficult for her to crush Su Yin. Furthermore, Su Yin was also very clear that sooner or later, he would ask Zuolingyue about his father's matter. No matter what the reason was, Su Yin still had to be respectful and courteous to Zuolingyue. At the very least, he couldn't let Zuolingyue hate him. Otherwise, there would be nothing to talk about. Well said. Zuolingyue smiled faintly. Well then, let me ask you, what did you do in the high seas outside the East China Sea? Su Yin was stunned on the spot. Could it be that Zuolingyue was possessed by Gu Zueran? She even knew how to calculate with her fingers? From your expression, you should be very clear about what I want you to say. Zuolingyue's gaze directly locked onto Su Yin. Sister Yu. As Su Yin spoke, he rapidly thought about how to quietly kick this question away. However, Zuolingyue directly made things clear. You might have done too many things in the high seas outside the East China Sea. I will narrow down the scope for you. Japan sank a destroyer. Don't say that this matter has nothing to do with you. Damn. The Empress was indeed the Empress. Zuolingyue instantly felt like Buddha knew everything like the back of her hand. Her lofty aura simply made Su Yin unable to raise his head. Sister Yu, how did you know that a destroyer sank in Japan? Su Yin was puzzled. Do you think I don't watch the news? Zuolingyue's answer. Su Yin calmed down a little. Then, the news must have reported it, right? Could it be that this destroyer sinking of course have something to do with me? If it, I'm afraid, the current situation, Zuolingyue said. Do you think that if the Japanese can confirm that this matter was done by a soldier from Huaxia, they will just let it go and not create international public opinion, and instigate the threat of Huaxia? Yes, they will definitely. Su Yin said. But Sister Yu, even the Japanese can't confirm that this matter has something to do with me. How can you be so sure that this matter has something to do with me? This kind of thing requires evidence. Without evidence, you can't simply say things. I heard the news on the car radio this morning, and heard the spokesperson of the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs say that the remnants of the missile that attacked their warship were found to be American-made. Bai Xiaoye heaved a sigh of relief. Su Yin continued. The missiles produced by Huaxia are not inferior to those produced by the Americans. Furthermore, our country has never bought these weapons and all sorts of other things from the Americans. I feel that the Japanese should discuss this matter with the Americans. Seeing that Su Yin refused to admit it, Zuolingyue's expression became a lot more relaxed. Good, very good. You refuse to admit it. This matter is indeed not something that you can brag about. In the future, no matter who asks you, you must remember to deny it. What does this mean? Su Yin's heart skipped a beat. He always felt that talking to Zuolingyue was too tiring. Zuolingyue seemed to completely understand what she was thinking. Su Yin said so much just now, but it didn't seem like he was talking to her. She was still confident that this matter was done by Su Yin. She even told Su Yin not to talk nonsense and not to admit it. This was the right thing to do. Sister Yu, you don't believe me? Su Yin asked tentatively. Because I believe that Wang Dahu won't lie to me. Therefore, You can completely admit to everything in front of me. Zhuolengyue said lightly. What? Wang Dahu? Su Yan almost choked himself to death. The boss of Dahu Seafood City's ocean restaurant, Wang Dahu, actually had a relationship with Zhuolengyue. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Don't be so surprised, Zhuolengyue said. He was my disciple and all his abilities were bestowed upon him by me. When I asked him about something, he naturally wouldn't lie. At first, I thought that he was stirring up trouble. After all, that Japanese destroyer sank in the sea near his ocean restaurant. I called him to question him, and he said that it was indeed related to him. I asked him to tell me in detail, and he finally told me about the relationship between you two. Therefore, I know exactly what happened to you on the high seas outside the East China Sea. Know exactly? Then why did you ask? Are you playing with me? If the other party was someone else, Su Yan would definitely have turned hostile and glared at them. However, he had to give face to the Empress. Su Yan, what my master means is that you can't admit to this matter to anyone. If the Japanese hear about it and have something on you, they won't let you off, Bai Xiaoya said. Do you think that I, Su Yan, don't understand such simple logic? Do you even need to tell me this? Of course, I can't talk about it casually. Wang Dahu, I can't believe that you are actually a disciple of the Empress. No wonder you dare to open a restaurant on the high seas. TSK, you have a backer. Now, Su Yan was even more curious about Zhuolengyue. Sister Yu, don't you only accept female disciples? Wang Dahu is an exception. Zhuolengyue said. Alright, it's your turn. Didn't you come here to ask me some questions too? Of course. Su Yan said. I thank you on behalf of everyone. The cultural relics that you returned to the country are priceless. Thank you very much. Zhuolengyue shook her head. You don't have to be so polite with me. I didn't give you anything. However, I have a question that I don't understand. Why did you ask Bai Xiaoya to dress up as me? She even accepted a news interview. Su Yan said. I'm a low-profile person and don't like to cause such a big commotion. It will disrupt my personal life. Zhuolengyue asked back. Isn't it good to have such a good opportunity to leave your name in society? It's good, but I don't want to, Su Yan said. Furthermore, these are obviously your things. You should be the one to leave your name in history. I naturally have my reasons for doing so. Zhuolengyue said faintly. Su Yan, the focus of all the media is on you and those cultural relics. It's absolutely impossible for them to link you to the shipwreck in the high seas outside the East China Sea. Do you understand what I mean? The Japanese weren't stupid pigs. There were some things that they would investigate, and investigate again. Even the slightest trace of evidence could implicate you. But now no one suspects you. Perhaps Su Yan was too inexperienced, or perhaps Zhuolengyue was too shrewd. Although Su Yan didn't quite understand, he could feel that Zhuolengyue seemed to be doing this for his sake. Chapter 1103. But Zhuolengyue's tone changed. If you don't want the media to disturb you, why don't you go abroad for a vacation? If you stay in China, I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble for you. Unless you take advantage of the situation and disappear from everyone's sight as soon as possible. Sister Yu, is this the reason why you asked Bai Xiaoya to disguise as me? If she shows up, she will be pestered by the media in the future. Su Yan said. You're really smart, killing two birds with one stone. Zhuolengyue smiled slightly. But it's still more beneficial for you. Think about it. Who would suspect that a person who gave a pile of priceless national treasures to the country would have the time to sink a destroyer of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force in the high seas outside the East China Sea? Even the Japanese themselves wouldn't suspect it. Su Yan shrugged. He believed Zhuolengyue's words, but he was a little worried about Wang Dahu. Brother Dahu's restaurant is on the high seas. Will the Japanese always find trouble with him? After all, the shipwreck site is so close to him. He will definitely be involved. You don't have to worry about this. Wang Dahu has been in society for so many years. He has more experience than you. Zhuolengyue said. With the idiot Asu Dalong, the Deputy Prime Minister of Japan, supporting him, I'm afraid no captain of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force will be stupid enough to find trouble with him. After a pause, Zhuo Lingyue continued. After you were escorted away, a Su Dalong arrived. When the Japanese warships surrounded Wang Dahu, a Su Dalong was on the ship. With him as Wang Dahu's witness, do you think the Japanese army will still suspect Wang Dahu? Amazing. How could a person not wet his shoes in society? Even if his shoes were wet, he didn't need to be afraid. Interpersonal relationships were like a dryer. This time, a Su Dalong was Wang Dahu's dryer when his shoes were wet. Don't worry. You won't be wrong about Wang Dahu. Although he used a Su Dalong, he is definitely not a lackey of the Japanese. You don't need to worry about this at all. Zhuo Lingyue said. Drenching a Su Dalong's oysters with gutter oil can make a Su Dalong take care of him in various ways. Humph, I'm afraid only Wang Dahu can do this. Su Yin felt a wave of admiration for Wang Dahu. Indeed, he didn't misjudge him. Now that Zhuo Lingyue suggested him to hide abroad, it was just in line with his current situation. As long as Matthew got the news, he would definitely go to the WS. Sister Yu, I understand, Su Yin said. Since you need me to go abroad to avoid the media for a few days, I'll go. I know where you want to go. Zhuo Lingyue said indifferently. America? Su Yin was startled, but he quickly understood. Since Zhuo Lingyue was able to contact Wang Dahu, she definitely knew about Gu Qia's matter. Gu Qia and Wang Dahu had talked about what happened in their circle. Therefore, Zhuo Lingyue definitely knew something about what happened in Vancouver. I'm warning you, Su Yin. Don't think that only the East has experts, Zhuo Lingyue said. Our ancestors in Huaxia have a saying, there's always someone better than you. Maybe you think you're strong enough to travel the world and dominate a region with your current strength. But I still have to remind you that there are some troubles that may mean death once you encounter them. While speaking, the domineering aura in Zhuo Lingyue's body suddenly erupted. Without any warning, the immense pressure from the waves was simply not on the same level as the pressure that Su Yin had unleashed. The pressure released by Su Yin was absolutely nothing compared to the domineering aura released by Zhuo Lingyue. Zhuo Lingyue's domineering aura even made Su Yin, who was in the Grandmaster realm, feel a strong sense of suffocation. Although the domineering aura only lasted for a moment, Bai Xiaoya's face still paled a lot because of the suffocation just now. The gap between their strengths was completely incomparable. This was the terror of a profound sky realm expert. Now that he thought about it, Su Yin felt that Huang Fuguo's grandfather was much kinder. The Empress, one of the three sovereigns, was indeed worthy of her reputation. The other two must have terrifying strength to be on par with her. Apart from Huang Fuguo, there was only Mao Bo, who was rumored to have fought with his grandfather, Tai Sui. Could it be that Tai Sui's strength was also so terrifying? When Su Yin thought of this, he felt a little sad. When he was young and ignorant, it was Tai Sui who brought him up. However, he didn't even show any filial piety before Tai Sui passed away. Zhuo Lingyue's domineering aura was just to let Su Yin know that he still had a long way to go before he could truly reach the peak of perfection. I heard from Xiaoye that you have a brother who is also quite strong. Zhuo Lingyue said indifferently. Why didn't he come with you this time? If you're going to the United States to do something dangerous, I suggest you bring a friend with you. Moreover, his strength can't be too weak. Otherwise, he'll drag you down. Sometimes, it's better to have someone to look after you. He has some personal matters to deal with. Su Yin said. I'll be careful on my own. Thank you for your concern, Sister Yu. Master, can I go with Su Yin? Bai Xiaoye suddenly asked. Zhuo Lingyue glared at her. Of course not. She didn't even have the slightest intention to negotiate. Bai Xiaoye was frightened by her master's attitude. She was obviously asking for a scolding. Zhuo Lingyue had previously emphasized that she shouldn't get too close to Su Yin. Not only did this little girl not listen, but she even made such a request. How could Zhuo Lingyue agree? Of course not. Su Yin laughed. I'm not going on vacation. If I encounter something, it'll be very troublesome to bring a woman along. What right do you have to look down on me? Bai Xiaoye snorted. She didn't expect Su Yin to say this. Zhuo Lingyue's aura didn't dissipate. What do you think you can do with your mediocre skills? Don't cause trouble here. Go back to your room. That Lin brat's strength is about the same as mine at most. Bai Xiaoya was unconvinced. Master, no matter what, I'm a Class 7 super expert. You've told me before that if I want to increase my strength, I need to go through trials and tribulations. If everything goes smoothly, it'll be hard for me to break through. I feel that this trip to America with Su Yin is a good opportunity for me to gain experience. I already said that you can't. Zhuo Lingyue seemed to have lost her patience. Bai Xiaoya and Zhuo Lingyue looked at each other. In the end, Bai Xiaoya gave up on arguing with her master. She pouted and left angrily. She really didn't understand. Her master clearly took care of Su Yin, but why didn't she let her get too close to him? Su Yin saw the conflict between the master and disciple, and was slightly embarrassed. Sister, you have to coax girls. This will only produce the opposite of the desired result. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. You can attend to your family matters. Su Yin, there's a reason why I can't let Xiaoya go with you. Zhuo Lingyue said, but you better listen to me. It's better to have a helper than to go alone. Su Yin only laughed foolishly. Chapter 1104. Zhuo Lingyue definitely wouldn't see him off. Su Yin got in the car. The perfume in the car smelled a little weird, but he didn't have time to care about it. He directly took out the sunglasses from the storage space under the center armrest and prepared them. Then he rushed back to Yanjing. After arriving in Yanjing, Su Yin didn't go back to the hotel directly. Instead, he went to Pan Garden. For some reason, Su Yin felt that he came back very quickly this time. He didn't even feel that he had driven much. Ma Sanner must have a lot of things to tell him now. After all, they were in the cultural relics business. After seeing today's news, they must be completely shocked. However, Su Yin believed in Ma Sanner's eyes. Although he was famous for his nose, if he couldn't even recognize a person disguised as a living person, then he shouldn't be in this business. Su Yun's appearance really frightened Ma Sanner. Oh my god! You think no one can recognize you just because you wear sunglasses? Now that you're in Pan Garden, you're here to attract attention, right? Ma Sanner said as he closed the door. Don't tell me you're really that blind? Su Yin grinned. Ma Sanner waved his hand. I can see it, but most people can't. It's obviously that little girl pretending to be you. Big brother Yin. That lass must have graduated from a professional film academy, right? Her expression, aura, and feeling are exactly the same as you. If it weren't for my sharp eyes that saw a small mole on the left side of her neck, I would have been fooled. Your eyes are not honest. She only came here twice, and you saw a small mole on her neck. Su Yin said, don't look at her like that in the future. This is a professional habit. You don't understand. Ma Sanner said, looking at a customer's neck is the first habit I have when I enter the shop. It's easy to tell whether a person is rich or not by wearing jewelry. For example, some people come in wearing a gold necklace and deliberately show it to me. According to the gold price, when it's the most expensive, 50 grams of hollow necklace is thick enough, which is 20,000 yuan. But some women wear carat gold necklace. It looks cheap, but it's from Tiffany. A carat gold necklace with a small tag costs 20,000 yuan. However, those who wear carat gold are definitely richer than those who wear gold. Brother Yin, do you know why? Su Yin waved his hand. Okay. Don't explain it to me. I didn't say anything. Ma Sanner became serious. I'm really good at judging people. If someone comes in with an LV and deliberately wants to show off, then they're pretending to be rich. If they carry an LV and put it on the ground, then they're either fake goods or really rich. If they only have a bag, then they're definitely pretending to be rich. If they're really rich, then they don't only have bags. They also have clothes and shoes. Shut up. Su Yin said. Do you think I'm here to listen to a lecture? Hurry up and find something to dress me up. How can I not be recognized outside? I didn't even dare to go back to the hotel, and came here first. I know you know some disguise skills. Hurry up and do it for me. You don't need to disguise yourself for such a small thing. I'll find you a headscarf and some punk jewelry. You'll instantly become a rock and roll youth. Even if you say you're a rich young master, no one will believe you. Ma Saner laughed. Rich young masters are all playing with girls. Who has the time to play rock and roll? Su Yin urged Ma Saner to talk less and do more work. Only then did Ma Saner hurriedly find him a headscarf and other random things. After dressing up, Su Yin really became a punk youth in Yanjing. Suddenly, the Qian outside the door rang loudly. Ma Saner thought it was some kid causing trouble and hurriedly opened the door. He saw Bai Xiaoye opening the back door and panting heavily. Ma Saner was stunned. Su Yin, you're really something. You said I was looking at a girl's neck, and you brought her back directly? Where's Su Yin? Bai Xiaoye asked as she tidied her clothes. Su Yin also came out when he heard the noise. When he saw Bai Xiaoye, his expression was even more shocked than Ma Saner's. That was because Bai Xiaoye had climbed out of his car. Why are you in my car? Su Yin was going crazy. If I wasn't hiding in your car, do you think my master would let me come out with you? Bai Xiaoye said disapprovingly. When did you come in? Bai Xiaoye shrugged. You don't need to know. Anyway, I was in your car. However, your vigilance is really average. If I was a bad person and wanted to assassinate you, you would definitely be dead. Su Yin finally realized why the perfume in the car smelled weird. It was Bai Xiaoye's doing. I sprayed some ecstasy powder in your car. Did you feel like you were in a daze all the way? I didn't even feel like I drove far before we reached our destination, Bai Xiaoye said proudly. Su Yin pointed at Bai Xiaoye helplessly. You're playing too much. Aren't you afraid that I'll get into a car accident because of your ecstasy powder? I won't be the only one who will be unlucky. We'll both be finished. Don't worry. This thing isn't that useful for an expert at your level. Bai Xiaoye smiled and looked at Ma Saner. It might be more useful for you. Then, Bai Xiaoye waved her hand. Su Yin smelled that weird smell again. Ma Saner rolled his eyes and was about to fall to the ground. If Su Yin hadn't caught him, Ma Saner would have really fallen to the ground. Where did you get this thing from? Isn't it too cruel? Su Yin asked. How is it? Do you feel like you need me? Bai Xiaoye raised her eyebrows. It's not easy to go out alone, especially when you're doing something big. Everyone knows that women are easier to handle than men. A capable woman is probably easier to handle than a man, right? Su Yin understood what Bai Xiaoye meant. So you're really going to go to America with me? I haven't made any friends since I was young, Bai Xiaoye said. You can be considered my first friend. Now that you're in trouble, I'm stepping forward to help you. It's considered an emergency. That's true. Su Yin nodded. But have you ever thought that your master won't agree? Bai Xiaoye spread her hands. I'm already out. As long as you don't knock me out and send me back, my master can't do anything to me. You've grown up. Su Yin smiled. There would always be a day when a person would start to become disobedient. This was growth. Today, I just want you to say one thing. Do you need my help or not? Bai Xiaoye said. If you need it, I'll definitely help you. Good friends are loyal. If you don't need it, then I'll go back. It only means that you don't trust me, and we can't be friends in the future. So cruel. Bai Xiaoye nodded. Of course. What do you think? Since you don't trust me, why should I be friends with you? Then have you ever thought that when I said I don't need you to go, it's very likely that I want to protect you? I don't want you to go into danger with me. Su Yin said. Does that count as not trusting you? I don't care. I just want to ask you one thing. Do you need it or not? Bai Xiaoye said. My skills are hard to come by, and I'm not as weak as you say. Even if there's danger, I won't be a burden to you. If you think I'll be in danger, then you don't trust me. Chapter 1105. Does that mean you've agreed to it? Bai Xiaoye had a smug expression on her face. She had followed her master for so many years, but she had never made a decision on her own. This time, she felt an indescribable excitement and joy from the bottom of her heart. Bai Xiaoye was excited about her courage. Su Yin bitterly smiled. If I'm not wrong, your master doesn't want you to get too close to me. If she finds out that I took you away, even if she doesn't punish you, she will definitely cripple me. In your master's eyes, I'm nothing more than a three-legged cat. She can kill me with just a flick of her little finger, right? That's all you have? Bai Xiaoya was speechless. Su Yin, you disappoint me too much. I risked being beaten to death by my master to help you. But you don't dare to let me help you because you're afraid of my master. Are you a man? Can't you be a man? Su Yin was obviously a man. Even if Zhuo Lengyue said that she wanted to kill him, she wouldn't really kill him. However, if she said that she wanted to kill Su Yin, then she would definitely kill Su Yin. Even a fool would understand this logic. Forget it, forget it. I'm just unlucky, Su Yin said. At most, I'll be crippled by your master when I come back. She won't cripple you. Can't you see that my master admires you a lot? Bai Xiaoya said. I can see that every time my master sees you, her emotions are different. Anyway, how should I put it? Anyway, her feelings for you are different from ordinary people. She has a kind of F*CK, don't say that your master fell in love with me. Su Yin said. If she's angry at you, then she's jealous of you. Don't talk nonsense. Bai Xiaoya glared at Su Yin. If you talk nonsense again, my master won't need to do anything. I'll tear your mouth apart. Stop being so smug here. Just based on you, you want my master to take a fancy to you? TSK. You should also take a look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your own virtue. What do you have that can captivate my master? Su Yin looked at himself up and down. My virtue is not bad, right? I'm still very attractive to girls. Why? Don't you admit that you're a little obsessed with me? Infatuation, my ass. Stop being so narcissistic. Bai Xiaoya was so anxious that her face turned red all the way to her ears. She really wanted to punch Su Yin. Su Yin smacked his lips. I've studied psychology before. Once you become angry out of humiliation, it means that you've been exposed. As long as you make a move, you'll admit it. Bai Xiaoya retracted her fist. Cut it out. Don't talk nonsense with me. Give me a straightforward answer. Do you dare to let me go with you? I dare. There's nothing in this world that I, Su Yin, don't dare to do. Su Yin. But, phew. Bai Xiaoya was like a deflated balloon. No matter what it was, as long as the word, but appeared, it was basically impossible. She could already imagine what Su Yin would say. Su Yin would definitely say, but your master has to agree. But you have to fight for your master's agreement. But, in any case, he wasn't going to take her with him. Humph, a grown man like him is so annoying. But after you go with me, you have to listen to my arrangements. All your actions have to be obedient. You can't let your emotions cause you to do whatever you want. If you encounter danger, you can't force yourself. As long as I tell you to give up, you have to give up. If I tell you to leave, you have to leave. No matter what happens, you can't turn back. Su Yin said. If you can promise me and guarantee that you'll do all these, I'll take you with me. Really? Bai Xiaoya's eyes lit up. She couldn't believe her ears. Su Yin nodded. Don't be so happy. If you can do all these, then I'll agree. If you can't, then I won't agree. Of course I can do it. I, Bai Xiaoya, am a woman of my word. Bai Xiaoya was excited. What can you do? Su Yin wondered if she had heard his request. I promise you that after we go, I'll listen to your arrangements and obey your orders. I won't let my emotions cause me to do whatever I want. If I encounter danger, I won't force myself. As long as you tell me to give up, I'll give up. As long as you tell me to leave, I'll leave immediately. No matter what happens, I won't turn back. Bai Xiaoya replied in one breath. Do you have anything else to add? Su Yin was speechless. This girl's memory and eloquence were really first-rate. Bai Xiaoya was very excited. She could finally get what she wanted. She could leave her master's control and do something she wanted to do. Although she knew that the consequences of sneaking out would be severe, she couldn't suppress her excitement. When are we leaving? Bai Xiaoya couldn't help but ask. Su Yin shook his head. I haven't received any news yet, so I don't know when we'll leave. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you'll never be defeated. Without any news, it's meaningless even if we go. Learn to wait. Learning to wait is a test of patience. Bai Xiaoya didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's fine if I wait, but But what if my master finds me? That's your problem. Su Yun said. This isn't something I can control. If I could deal with your master, why would I waste so much time talking to you? Bai Xiaoya sighed helplessly and shook her head. I don't care. Anyway, I'll go wherever you go. It should be fine as long as I follow you. Besides, I'll be worried if I don't follow you. What if you run away? Where am I supposed to find you then? Do I, Su Yun, look like someone who doesn't keep his word? Su Yun snorted. How about this? I'll take you to the hotel I'm staying at. You can accompany a friend of mine. Bai Xiaoya frowned. What friend? The only daughter of old Master Gu in Canada, Miss Gu, Su Yun said. Bai Xiaoya was obviously surprised. You've been living with the Miss of Canada all this time. Phew. No wonder you don't want me to go with you. Will my appearance disturb you? F***ck, you're thinking too much. Su Yun said. I'm on the same level as Lu Xiaohui. Don't imagine me to be like Shimin Qing. Do you still want to go to America with me? Yes. Bai Xiaoya nodded. Shimin. Oh no, Lu Xiaohui. Tell me. I won't think too much. Su Yun carried the unconscious Ma San'er into the shop and locked the door before taking Bai Xiaoya to the hotel. I think we work well together, Bai Xiaoya said. What do you think? Well, I think so too. Do you want to name a group? Su Yun smiled bitterly. You've heard of Little Apple, right? You know Old Boy, right? You've seen Fierce Dragon crossing the river, right? Let's just call ourselves White Tiger Brothers. That's terrible. Bai Xiaoya blushed. What White Tiger? That's not elegant at all. Su Yun grinned. I want an elegant name. But things like Phoenix Legend, Miracle of the Nine Moons, and other names like that aren't tiring. Can you not be so childish? What group name? I don't even want to go with you. Bai Xiaoya was speechless. Ahem. Who was the one who said that after going with me, you have to listen to all my orders? Su Yun said. It's not too late if you don't want to go. Bai Xiaoya was speechless and didn't say anything. Well, why don't we call ourselves Little Apple Group? No matter how much I love you, I can never have enough of you, Su Yun said with a smug smile. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.